Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what?
I've got a big thing in the center of my screen that says Microsoft Visual C++ Runtime Library, Runtime Error. Let's see.
Well, do you still have video and audio from us?
I do. Let me click the OK and see what happens. If I disappear, anybody out there, if something happens, we'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, we're fighting Skype today.
Okay, I did not get any error. That everything seems to keep on working. And it looks okay also on the monitor, so it looks fine. Okay. Well, I don't know what that was.
Who knows?
Wow, I've never seen one of them.
Probably VidBlaster.
You turn to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next 3 hours, 4 hours. As much as we can muster out of it. Along with Mike.
Hello.
And Bruce.
And I'm feeling rather peachy today.
You're peachy. Are you in Georgia?
No, I'm in Virginia.
I'm feeling orangey.
Spence is going to join us in a little bit. He said he was going to join us a little late. Today's show is being brought to you by that VidBlaster guy, Tom Sinclair, at www.vidblasterguy.com. Yeah, there's sound going out here. I'm still kind of.
Yes.
Worried if everything is still working, but it looks like everything is working. All right. So anyway, what's happening?
I don't know of a whole lot going on, so it was great today. Enjoyed the show.
All right. Did you hear that the ITC ruled in favor of Apple this past week? It says the U.S. International Trade Commission has ruled that certain models of Samsung phone violate Apple patents and are likely to be blocked from imports to the U.S. It says the patents in questions are U.S. patent number blah, 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 which relates to a touch screen and user interface, and U.S. patent number blah, blah, which deals with detecting when a headset is connected.
Well, Apple invented headsets.
The what?
Apple invented headsets. Same time they did the round.
The ITC said Samsung didn't infringe on the other two. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, boys and girls.
How are you?
Well, let me just mute my voice coming back because that's dreadful.
We missed you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I've been spending time with my dad. So I didn't have the computer sorted out, but I popped back home today to check on the mail and stuff like that and thought, right, well, I'll call in and say a quick hi and I can pick up a headset and then go back to Dad's, which I shall be doing shortly.
All right. So the ITC said that Samsung didn't infringe on the other two patents, whichever they were. In a statement on the matter, the ITC said the decision is final and the investigation has been closed. As was with the case with the previous ruling that saw Apple devices banned, the ban on Samsung devices won't go into effect until 60 days, but can be blocked by a favorable... What was that noise? I'm going to jump every time I hear something weird.
You're nervous.
Don't do it. Yeah, I know.
Somebody stop that tap from dripping.
And until ruling following the president, the only way that it can be reversed is by favorable ruling following a presidential review. What in the world does that mean, Mike? The president can reverse something that courts
Yes.
Yes, until the court decides again. What happens is that the
ITC
is under the executive branch. He's the boss of the executive branch. They have to do what he says. If the parties don't agree with the ruling, then they go to a court, which is, in the checks and balances system, is the division of the government that decides for sure. If there is no patent infringement, the ITC has no power to act, as I understand it. I'm certainly no expert in that area. If there's no patent infringement, then they have no basis on which to make the ban. If it's an unsettled matter, and in their opinion it is, once Apple says they're infringing our patents, then the ITC looks at it and says, yes, we agree. Boom, they can put the ban in effect. And once the chain of command and for divisions of the executive branch is that the method of appeal would be to the boss, and the boss, at least now, is the president. But that's him deciding on whether to take action, not whether legally there is an infringement. So it gets messy, and this is like a tennis game. If you go watch a tennis game, and let's say Bruce and Amnon are playing tennis, Bruce hits the ball and Amnon misses it, the game is not over. You get more than one miss. So Amnon picks up the ball, hits it back, Bruce returns the ball, Amnon returns it, Bruce returns it, Amnon returns it, now Bruce misses the ball. The game is not over. I mean, there is a certain level of back and forth that goes on before the options are exhausted. This is just another volley in that process, as I understand it. But I got to tell you something, and when you get, I certainly have zero experience at the level of Apple and Samsung. I mean, we're talking mega dollars here. But if you were talking small companies, if Bruce invented a Radiscold that he's convinced is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and another company starts making it or makes one similar to it, Bruce says, I want to go to the ITC with patent in hand and get these guys to block any imports of these products because they infringe on my product. Bruce then has to make a decision how strong his appetite is for that process, because if Bruce is successful in getting the ITC to block importation of a device that he thinks is infringing his device, then once the matter is settled in court, if it turns out that Bruce's accusation is incorrect and the product is not infringing, now Bruce is probably liable for all of the lost sales that company experienced because of the ban. It is not for the faint at heart.
Well, they are continuing this to say that it seems unlikely that a presidential review will reverse it. It's only been issued once since 1987.
Well, it depends on who gives more to the presidential re-election campaign, I guess.
Absolutely. You know, this is so confusing and such a crock in my mind. You know, it just goes back and forth, to use your tennis analogy. And I think it really causes people to wonder what's going on in the back rooms, because we know they got dark back rooms in D.C., right? And so I don't have. Well, let me just ask you: do you sense much confidence in this process to be playing out in a fair and legal way, or does it cause you some suspicion the way it's been, rolling out? One week it's against Apple, and the next week it's against Samsung, and the ITC comes to Apple's rescue. Now they support Apple in their thing. It just. And I think there could be some backlash. I mean, obviously we know there are fanboys on both sides, but it's the division between the operating systems and the companies is just the divide is just growing deeper, I think.
Are you asking me if I think it's divisive?
Yeah. I mean, how much confidence do you have in this system that is making these decisions, because of the way it plays out over time? It just doesn't seems more like backroom deals to me.
Well, believe it or not, I actually don't think the system is broken. And because I do have inside knowledge of how these things operate. The problem is, I see two major problems that I guess that the average low information voter could probably relate to, and I'm not calling anyone here that, obviously, but there's so many people out there that just suck this stuff up without knowing what they're getting into. Mm-hmm. One is that the system, in a competitive world, the patent system is designed to foster innovation. That is, if you spend your time, money, and effort creating a new invention, then you get to exclude others from making that invention for a certain period of time. Contrary to what people would suggest or believe, that does foster innovation. The reason being, take the perfect example is the drug companies. If they're going to spend $1 billion, which is the average cost to bring a non-blockbuster drug to market, sometimes it's $2 billion, but if they're going to spend that kind of money to bring a drug to the market, if the patent system were not in place, think about what would happen. This drug, they would bring it to the market. Anyone could make it. The actual cost to manufacture a pill that sells for $10 is probably, I'm going to make this up, I don't have any information. Truth about it, it's probably 30 cents. But how do they get their $1 billion back if they don't charge these outlandish prices? Now, I'm not defending the drug companies and what they charge. I think that there's a lot of gaming of the system going on there, but that's another matter. But I do think that if, let's suppose that the drug company released a drug, the pill could be made for 30 cents, so a generic company starts making them and selling them for 60 cents. Well, how does the drug company get its $1 billion back? Well, who cares? We care. If they don't get their $1 billion back, they're not going to spend another $1 billion to create a new drug. That new drug might cure cancer. Who knows? Now, having said that, the other thing that I think we are experiencing when we watch these patent fights between Samsung and Apple, these are very complicated devices. They have a lot of parts in them. They have a lot of sequences and things. And the market is so competitive that these arch rival competitors are looking for every sliver of advantage that they can gain on the other side, because every microscopic advantage turns into millions, if not billions of dollars. And it's tough out there. I mean, I would suggest, and I hadn't even thought about it till just now, I would suggest that maybe BlackBerry let some things get away from it with regard to patenting. BlackBerry originally was the industry leader in smartphones. Didn't they really invent the smartphone?
Who?
BlackBerry.
I don't know.
I'm wondering when BlackBerry started and when Palm first came out with their Trio.
But do you see how those two have probably let some of the patent fights get away from them, and now Samsung and Apple have taken over?
Yeah, and like I mentioned in the chat, my comment has more to do with the recent ITC rulings than it does the patent system, because I agree the patent system, it seems to be working okay. There are some issues. There are some people who don't think there ought to be patents on software, but it's just so the decision has been rendered in the courts regarding these patents, and then the ITC comes in on top of that to block different things.
Okay, I see what you're asking. I do not have intimate knowledge of this case. I suspect, and I could be dead wrong, I suspect that the ITC's rulings have to be consistent with the court. I don't know if it even says in the article, Amnon, but have these patents been litigated?
It's something that, it's something that they part of the original thing.
Right. In the first one that came up, the litigation said that certain Apple products were not going to be allowed to come into the country, including the iPhone 3G, and there was a couple other things. And then the ITC 2 weeks ago said, no, they're going to be allowed to come in. One of the other patents says certain Samsung products are not going to be allowed to come into the country, and the ITC says, yeah, that's right.
But what I'm saying here, and it would take a long time to know how accurate this is and how well I understand what I'm saying with regard to this specific case. But these determinations, the ITC determinations, are made on a claim-by-claim basis. So to say that Samsung won the litigation or Apple won the litigation is in an incomplete statement, because generally if there are 10 claims in a patent, Apple's going to sue based on the infringement they feel they can establish in as many of those claims as they can. Let's assume they allege infringement of 5 of 10 claims. The court says, all right, we agree with Apple, you do have infringement on 4 of the 5. We do not find infringement on the 5th one. Therefore, if the ITC had previously blocked importation based on Apple's claim of 5 infringed claims, they are and should and must go back and evaluate whether any of the importations have been blocked based on a determination that the 5th claim is infringed. The court says it's not infringed, therefore they should not be blocking importation. Having said all that, and having done the qualifier, I don't know exactly the detail of this case, but let's say that if the ITC is banning importation of products that have been determined by a court to be non-infringing, then I don't have a clue what they're up to.
Mm.
No. If it is yet to be determined, or if it has by court, or if it has been determined to be infringing, the ITC is probably within its right to take whatever action it chooses to ban importation. One of the benefits of this process, though, Bruce, is that whenever you have a patent fight between these giants, the consumer really doesn't see an immediate impact of it. There's not really a whole lot going on. That is that, okay, Samsung's going to have to pay a big judgment. They write a check, and you still go to AT&T or Verizon, and you buy your Samsung phone. Life goes on. The average consumer knows nothing about it. Having said that, whenever you ban importation of a Galaxy 4, and then Bruce goes down to get a Galaxy 4, and they said, sorry, you can't get one, now the sense of urgency has increased dramatically. So in the sense that the ITC's actions are relatively immediate and they directly impact the average consumer, it may foster a much quicker resolution to the issue.
I'm thinking that the members of the ITC have stock in eBay.
You don't think there's any corruption in government, do you, Amnon? Are you one of those?
That's just going to open a black market for these things. Companies today will...
Then the carriers have to enable them, don't they?
But they do.
Well, we'll see how that plays out long term.
Right. We'll have to wait and see. Besides, 60 days, and in 60 days the carriers can really build up a lot of inventory. You see, that's what I don't understand. In 60 days it'll take place. Well, if you pass the ruling and something is wrong, what is that 60 days? Okay, bring as many as you want now, because after 60 days you're not going to be able to do it.
No, but if you went to the store to buy a phone, a Galaxy S4,
yeah.
If the carrier said, by the way, this phone has been banned by the ITC, importation has been banned by the ITC, after another 45 days, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get replacement parts for it.
Good point.
Are you going to be excited about buying it?
That's a very good point, Mike. You're right. No, I'm not. You're right.
And particularly when as lousy and crummy as these companies have gotten, I don't think there's any assurance that if you came back and the phone you couldn't get parts for it, that they would take it back and give you another phone. They'd say, we warned you. You should have known better. You did this at your own risk. If you want a new phone, it's $600.
Yeah. No, that's
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Very good point.
Anytime you start accusing people of patent infringement, and when you take actions that have an immediate effect, those effects can be long-reaching and can cause significant harm to the person against whom the patent is being asserted. That's why it's a game for the big boys, because once you start interfering with someone's commerce, once you start costing the other guy money, you'd better win your case.
Steve.
Unmutes microphone, prepares to answer statement. Hello.
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 What's your take on this?
I just think it's wrong that if a legal body decides on something, and then somebody can just veto it and change their minds for them.
Yeah.
What's the point in having
That's
rulings in decisions and things like that, only for somebody to overrule you? Well, what's the point of it?
Yeah, it renders the court mute, and
Yeah.
that's part of my confusion here.
Well,
the
okay,
court
but
says
back
this
to what-
can the court says this can come in, this can't come in, and then the ITC says no. So
You either make a decision on a legal basis, looking at all the facts, and then stick with it, or you get somebody that says, "Well, don't worry about that. I've made another decision. That's the one that stands." It makes it all. What's the point?
Don't misunderstand. I am agreeing with both of you totally, and maybe I wasn't very clear. If the court has decided, in my opinion, the ITC has to act consistently with that court decision. My caveat to that is that remember that a lot of Amnon, what's the source of that article?
Slashdot. I have no idea.
Okay. You cannot trust
I know.
media. All right? That article may be 100% accurate. It may be 50% accurate. It may be 2% accurate. You cannot take that as gospel for sure.
Right.
That
Absolutely.
I'm confident of.
I'm with you on that.
All right. Now, having said that, I'm not convinced that we have a situation here where the ITC has thumbed its nose at the court and done its own thing. Now, without getting political, this administration has done that regularly. And somebody could say, Mike, you don't know what you're talking about. That's exactly what happened. And I will confess, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going based on what I think is probably right, in that the ITC is acting on what it should believe is correct information. If it is acting inconsistently with a court that has made a determination that this invention is not infringing a claim that it's using to block importation of a device, then something is wrong, and that's elections have consequences, and you should take that into account whenever you go vote.
Okay, now somebody explain. Let's see. I thought you were trying to show something, Bruce. Somebody explain to me. What is, in reality, what is the ITC made of? I mean, is it a panel of 3 people, or is it something like a huge organization?
No, it's a bunch of government bureaucrats.
So it is a few people that making these decisions.
Well, I don't know how big the group is, but I mean, every government organization has some idiot at the top.
Wait a minute. We're talking about an executive branch outfit here. And the NSA is
not using any profanity, Bruce, so I'll stick with what I said.
That's good. All right. Good. Changing subjects.
But didn't we all just agree that the government should not abuse its authority?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Steve, this is for you. I didn't even know that.
Oh, gosh. I feel honored. Thank you.
Website blocking has become a hot topic in the UK in recent weeks. Uh-huh. Opponents of both voluntary and court-ordered blockades have warned about the potential collateral damage these blocking systems may cause. And they have now been proven right. As it turns out, sites can easily exploit the system and add new IP addresses to Sky's block list. As a result, Torrent Freak has been rendered inaccessible to the ISP's 4 million customers. Torrent Freak cannot be accessed. So they can block any websites
Yes, on the word of any of the entertainment industries per se, just let's call them entertainment industries, whether it's movies, music, TV, whatever. The word of whatever they say, basically because of the ruling through the courts, through Judge Briss in his wisdom, they can just add whatever IP or whatever internet address to the block list with no question. The difficult thing is really because nobody is... come forward to defend the accusations or the complaining, bitching, whinging and whinging of the entertainment industries, mainly for the reason because they know they're going to get sued if they do, because at the moment they're all fairly anonymous as far as people that own and run the sites. And if they did step forward to defend and fight against the industries that are getting these blocks put in place, they'd be hauled off by Inspector Plod. And so, yeah, it's understandable. But unfortunately, because nobody is stepping forward to defend, they get a judgment for the plaintiff or whatever, the accuser.
So they can really... There's a system apparently now in the UK that they can block any website.
Yeah. They're Cameron, our leader, if you like to call him that, of the government at the moment, is got his knickers in a twist to do with porn on the internet, and he wants an automatic opt-in to filter everything that they deem as being not suitable. You just add what you like. Say again?
Who gets to decide what's suitable?
That's the main question I have. Whoever. I mean, it's just the thin edge of the wedge, isn't it? At the moment, it's protect the children, which is one of the adages. Like, we don't want terrorism, we don't want child porn, we don't want rape, we don't want all the usual things that create one huge reaction from the average person. Throw one of them into the statement that you're making and everyone's on your side.
Did you say protect children?
Protect children, yes.
Isn't that a parental response? I'm sorry, I'm just old-fashioned. Never mind.
Absolutely, yes. It's almost like we stepped back in time there for a few seconds, wasn't
it? Thank you, Steve, for yet another British colloquialism, twisted knickers.
Get your knickers in a twist, yes.
Yes.
It really annoys me to think that they're using something that is as serious as paedophiles and child labour, anything like that. They're using it for their own nefarious purposes to get in legislation or change the rules to suit themselves when they know full well that the average person is going to say, oh, yes, we do need to protect the children. Oh, yes, I mean, we shouldn't have child labour and we shouldn't have, paedophiles, this, that and the other, because it's a major thing. Everyone, well, not everyone, obviously, there are other people that like that sort of thing, the sick idiots, but, the average person on the street, if you phrase a question in such a way, or a particular way, which politicians love to do, they're going to get a yes answer. Yes, we must stop that, irrespective of what the outcome and the reasons are going to be. It's to suit their needs, and it is disgusting that we allow them to do it time and time again.
The only way you're going to get rid of porn on the internet is to shut it down.
Well, they had an option, didn't they, of putting it on an XXX domain, and they ruled that they didn't want that. Well, what a perfect way to put it, because you would then just be able to block any domain ending in XXX through, your...
But here's the question: where's the dividing line? Who decides which sites have to be on XXX and which sites can be on non-XXX domains? Who gets to decide that? And the reason I say that is because in the United States, we struggle with that very thing at the legal level. And Justice Potter on the Supreme Court, when a case came before him, said, "How do we know what is pornography? How do we know what's obscene?" And his answer, which has been laughed at for all these years, but it's really how the government looks at it, his answer was, "We know it when we see it."
Mm-hmm. I heard an interesting news story somewhat related to this question on Kim Commando of all places yesterday. Yes, when I'm driving, if I'm in the car, I will listen a little bit. But somebody stole a computer from an Assembly of God church in Los Angeles, and the church had put filtering software. This particular brand is called Covenant Eyes, which is a really good piece of software. on the computer. And so the guy who stole it wanted to access porn, and he couldn't get past the filter. So he called the company and asked, how do I get this stuff off? And the company contacted the church, and the law enforcement came, and they retrieved the computer. So be careful.
That's what's called a low information voter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just show puppies real quick? If you give me just a second. This is he's asking about CCleaner, and so I'm just kind of sharing the screen here. He's asking how to run it. Sure. Basically, once you install it, puppies, it's really easy. You've got Cleaner and Registry, which are the main things I use, but it defaults to Cleaner. All you have to do is click Analyze, and it will go through and analyze and find it's looking, in my case, for temporary internet files, history, cookies, blah, blah, blah. And then once it finds it, then all you do is click Run Cleaner.
You know something, Bruce? Bruce,
say what?
Analyze is a waste of time. You can just click on Run Cleaner one time, because you're not going to stop it. You're not going to go through the list and
I
tell
disagree.
You disagree?
Oh, I totally disagree.
Why?
I absolutely look through that. If I see it's eliminating things that do not need to be eliminated, then I would uncheck those in a heartbeat.
If it eliminates something, then shouldn't you uncheck them in the list on the left?
As long as you know what it's going to find. What if you have an application that's not a mainstream application, a custom written application that it doesn't recognize, and it wants to delete it?
All right, let's go. Let's Bruce finish, and then we'll get into this, because this is important. Go ahead, Bruce.
Well, anyway, I was just wanting to show him. You don't need to keep me on the screen. You can come back to me, and I can bring this back up at any time. I can.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
It's as easy to watch as it is to look at us.
Yeah. Okay.
And Puppy, the she.
Puppy, I'm sorry. Chrome needs to close the internet, so I'm not going to do that. So, because it obviously would be looking on Chrome for some of these files, but for sake of the demonstration, it'll still work. So, and I apologize, puppies, for the gender misunderstanding. So the analysis is complete, and so here's the things, and you can see that in my case, it's not too bad because I run this every week. There's 663 megabytes to be removed. So then all I would do is click Run Cleaner, and it would run through and clean out all that stuff. But like I was mentioning in the chat, I ran this one time on my sister-in-law's computer. She was getting all kind of problems. And I realized when I looked at her hard disk, she didn't have much space left. I ran CCleaner and found over 3 gigabytes of junk that I deleted. And then I went through also and helped her. I got her a USB hard drive, and she moved a lot of her pictures. So, but to that. But, yeah, I think CCleaner is a great little product. So it is done.
I would agree with that entirely.
But Amnon, that's interesting. I didn't know that you could just click Run Cleaner and just.
I want Mike. Okay, are you done, Bruce?
I'm done.
Okay, Mike, explain why would you go through thousands of files on the right side to find out what it's deleting?
Because they can be categorized a little easier than that. I always scan through to see if there, and I don't run it that often, but I always scan through to see if there's anything that two things. One is I look to learn what's there, because if you've got a problem going on, sometimes you might learn from what's listed there. Now, I don't sit there and look at each one at a time, but I do scan through the list, because whenever there's a folder that has a bunch of garbage in it, that might be 4 different screens of the same stuff. You can skip past that in a hurry, particularly if it is temp files and things of that nature. But I think that's how you learn, is by reading through those things. If I installed a program, I have a good friend who is an electrical engineer. He has some older programs that he uses. He also has some programs that are very expensive that may not have sold that many copies. CCleaner is unaware of those programs, what they are, what they do, and it will go through and eliminate things that it does not understand. Its pushback is, wait a minute, you've got the opportunity to look to see. If we screw it up, you should have looked and told us not to. And I've had very, very few problems with it. I did have an instance, and I mentioned this some time ago. about 3 years ago where I ran CCleaner, and it did destroy the computer. I had to roll back either had to reinstall the image or I had to roll back the computer. But after that, I have not had any problems with it.
Well, this is interesting since you're talking about taking a closer look here. I've never noticed this. Look at this Windows Media Center. Over a gigabyte. Now, what is that? Is that just residue from stuff that I watched on Windows Media Center? I mean, that's a huge number.
It's probably just a cache.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can look on the left side, like when you said, and see what you're deleting, and most of it is just temporary files.
Right.
And people
caches.
look at those things and say, "Oh, I don't understand what all that is."
If you don't understand, uncheck it.
Yeah, you best need to leave it alone if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. Now, this program has matured quite a bit. I don't believe it's anywhere near the potential problem that it was 3 years ago when I had the problem, because it is a very highly regarded program. There are still quite a few people, including a lot of Microsoft MVPs, who say never scan your registry, leave it alone. I don't know what the right answer is. I've done it, and I've been lucky with it. I cannot recall but one instance that I have ever scanned the registry that I noticed a dramatic improvement in the computer.
I use it about 3-4 times a week.
Wow.
And of course I'm not going to see any dramatic because it just maintains.
Correct.
But I never had a problem of anything being deleted, and I never used the Analyze.
Well, I've used it a lot, and I've only had it that one instance. But that goes back to what I have said to others, and this is the perfect topic for this show. Somebody calls you, a friend calls you over to the house. Bruce, I've got a problem with my computer. I need help with my computer. It's doing some really crazy stuff and getting all these pop-ups here and there. When I do these things to help people, I tell them point blank, look, all I have are the tools that are available to me to try to solve this problem.
Right.
If this computer has been compromised, these tools could finish breaking it through no fault of my own. It's a bad feeling to go work on somebody's computer that's working marginally. When you're done, it doesn't work at all. And that doesn't mean you're an incompetent boob. That means that things beyond your control have happened. I had a situation with and this goes way back, with a computer that was used in a business, and this goes so far back, it was Windows 95, and they were having a major problem with it, and I worked on it, and sure enough, it finished breaking it. I couldn't boot into it. I had nothing happened. I finally ended up having to bootleg Windows 98 second edition on the computer to get it up and going, and I did, and it worked perfectly, and I never touched it again.
Well, it's I guess it's experience and being safe than sorry. It's okay, but.
Now, having said what we just said, I strongly suggest that if you're going to start running CCleaners and registry scanners and all sorts of things, you need to have an image of your hard drive. If you're not going to do that, you need to periodically have an image of your hard drive so that you can go back in time and create an exact version of your computer that you have at the time you run the image. There are tons of programs that accomplish that. Steve uses Acronis, I believe. I use Terabyte Unlimited.
You should do that even if you don't use these kind of programs.
But absolutely, in my opinion, before you run CCleaner the first time on your computer, in my opinion, you should use that as an opportunity to learn to create images of your hard drive in case something goes wrong.
Or at least set a restore point.
Oh, well, I think that will do it for you, will it not?
No, it didn't for me last week.
Did not set a restore point?
No, a restore point is you can't rely on a restore point. I did an update to a Windows update on my laptop last week, and it set a restore point. The machine then wouldn't boot. It just wouldn't boot. It just kept starting Windows, and then it just would blip and reset. I couldn't even get to the point of actually trying to get the restore point restored. So luckily, I had a full image backup. that had just completed about 10 minutes before. So I reinstalled the image from that. But if I was relying on restore points, I would now be with a computer that doesn't work. Well, luckily I know what I'm doing, but don't rely on it.
75% of the time for me, which is good. I'm glad to have them, but I'm like you. If I start tinkering with stuff, I'm going to make an image. And if for anybody asks, yes, I'm way behind on my images.
Well, as far as running the cleaner, in, I would say, 50% of cases of virus or malware, running cleaner right off the top, if it allows you. I'm not talking about running the registry cleaner. I'm talking about running the cleaner to remove files. It fixes them, because most of these files start in a temporary folder. So if you can get to it and run it, that's great. If you know how to do it manually, to go to each program and remove the temporary files from the temporary folders and windows, and all, then it's okay. But this does it in one swoop.
I think we have to bear in mind that the average user out there, we're very fortunate on this show that there's a lot of people that come in and listen and help to give advice, are perhaps above the average level for knowledge to do with computers. But if anyone is here listening after the fact, I think the CCleaner program for the average user that doesn't know how to tinker and mess around, just by installing it and running it, set in default mode, as soon as you run it when you've installed, and 99% of cases will probably do a good job of getting rid of it. As with anything, there's always going to be the odd time where there'll be a hiccup, in which case you needed to take it to a professional. But if your system is slowing down and you haven't done removed the files from temporary folders and cleared your cache and stuff like that, this program is a simple way of sorting out those kind of problems to speed your machine up perhaps a little bit. CCleaner is a great program for doing it if you're not too up on computer with the ways of doing computer stuff. Don't be frightened of it. It will do probably a very, very good job for you.
Uncle Guy says in chat, users are best served having professionals do repairs to the computer. Well, I agree with that, but I don't know where you are located, Uncle Guy. But for the average consumer, if you ask them, where do you go to get a computer repaired, I shudder to think how many of them say Staples. And nothing against Staples. I happen to do business there, and I happen to like them at some levels for a store, but I have yet to hear of anyone having a positive experience from taking their computer to them for repair. And the excuse that I hear is that they don't exactly hire the best and the brightest. Oh, that's a good point. Where do you live, Uncle Guy, and who would you suggest as a professional? I mean, when in this area, Amnon does that sort of thing. There are some computer stores around who do that sort of thing. I know Seattle. Well, heck yeah, you got them at their door out there. In fact, you'd have to go look for someone out there who wasn't a computer professional, wouldn't you?
Well, I was really surprised the first time that I got a customer to call me and that I didn't know. And I said, who told you about me? And they mentioned one of the big box stores in our area. They told them, well, we can't do that. You may want to try Amnon. And they give him the number. And I don't know that person. And it happens again and again and again. So at least I have no problem with somebody saying, we can't handle it. Take it somewhere else instead of screwing it up. I have no problem telling a customer, I don't know anything about this. I don't know how to do this. You need to find somebody else. Because you can really mess things up if you don't know what to do with
you can
cleaning.
Really mess them up if you do know what to do.
Yeah, that's true. You could. Absolutely. All right.
Hey, at some point, and you tell me when, there was some discussion earlier in the chat about Open Broadcaster, which is an encoder software similar to VidBlaster and XSplit. So at some point, I'd like to talk that. I was doing some testing with that last night.
Oh, I just saw a point coming through. Here, we have an extra point right now. Take this point.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Bruce.
Oh, wait a minute.
It slipped away.
Oh, crap.
I have a box full of points.
So we have a box full of points, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, well, let me see. I'm not even sure I can. Well, that's not even doing that right. So, no, there it is. So, anyway, this is, of course, this show is brought to you by that VidBlaster guy. And VidBlaster, I would say is the Cadillac of streaming, camera switching, encoding software, and that sort of thing. There's Wirecast, which some would say is equal and on par with VidBlaster, and I'd say it'd be like the Apples and Android argument, different strokes for different folks. And then there's XSplit, which is kind of what I'm using right now to to switch back some of the shots that I'm doing. But I've messed around with this a little bit, and I went back to it just to try it. And the main reason I did was after I got the ability to stream to YouTube Live. Now, one of the things that you need to know about this, there is no virtual camera function with Open Broadcaster. So you couldn't use this to send an image and camera shots to Google Hangouts or Skype or Zoom.us. But you can use this to stream to any CDN, and it's really quite easy to set up. This is not for the faint-hearted because this is not really user friendly, but the guy's been developing it for some time, and this is the most recent version I updated to yesterday. And if you look at the changelog, you can see, like somebody else posted in chat, that he's doing this pretty regular. The main reason I went to look at this again was, one, because of YouTube Live, and because my friend Dan McDermott, who does Google Plus Week on Friday night, he switched to, now that he's got YouTube Live, he's not doing Hangouts on Air, and he likes running a more professional show as far as the opening and closing and stuff like that with video intros and outros. And Open Broadcaster really has a lower threshold of CPU usage than any of the other encoders that I mentioned, VidBlaster, Wirecast, and XSplit. And so what he's doing is he's got his panel in a regular Hangout, not a Hangout on Air. He uses Open Broadcaster to set up a scene for his camera and for capturing the big window in the Hangout on Air, but he's streaming that live using Open Broadcaster directly to YouTube Live. So it's kind of interesting because all my camera shots are taken up with XSplit right now. I'm not able, like if I click Preview Stream, excuse me, I better click on the program itself. You're not going to be able to see anything because my cameras are all in use. But it's kind of interesting. If you want to add a scene, an XSplit comes with 12 scenes. You just click Add a Scene, and then you name it. And, of course, you can't see that dialog box. It just popped up. But you can see I've got a scene called Eddie Slide. This is my front-facing camera, and it's got my lower third, my name on it. Again, you can't see my camera because it's in use with XSplit. I've got an area that I capture a screen for something I did last night. Then I've got a closing, which has got the screen capture, my picture, and a little template here, and then a rear-facing camera. But it's really interesting. To add a source, all you do is right-click, click Add, and you can you're not seeing the whole thing because of the size, but I can add a window capture, a monitor capture, an image, a video capture device, game capture, and those are below what you can see on my screen right now. But anyway, I found it kind of interesting. So I did an hour show with it last night. I did an hour show using XSplit the way I normally do at 7:30, and then I did the same show at 9 o'clock using Open Broadcaster, and it's really interesting. If you'd like some more information about it or like to talk to somebody about it, I'd be glad to help you with it. But I can't show all the windows, but if you go up here to Profiles, you can have different profiles just like you can on VidBlaster and Wirecast, and you can save the setup, and then of course you can edit those. Well, you can see a little bit of it. Let me just kind of bring this over. Maybe you can kind of get a little flavor for this. So you set, the general is, you can name the profile, and then you get into the bowels of the ship, and you decide, what your encoding is going to be, and you set your max bit rate, and you can do MP3 or you can do AAC, and there are a ton of videos on YouTube out there. Then your broadcast settings. This is where you would put in your RTMP server and the name of your stream, and some other settings here. I'm not going to bore you with too much of this. You just pick your video, what you want your resolution to be, and your audio, and you can go into advanced. And it gets pretty. You might be best served to go with some of the default settings, but I had a lot of fun tweaking around with it. So anyway, and this is totally free and open source, and so you might want to play around with it. But I was pretty satisfied with what I got last night.
Did you have any drop frames?
The first time I did two tests. The first test I did, I dropped frames because I had my bit rate set too high and my resolution set too high. I adjusted that to down to 720p. Adjusted my bit rate, and I had 0 drop frames for like 45 minutes when I did it the next time. So you live and learn as far as finding the the sweet spot. But it's kind of nice because it will you can see right here it will give you a green light, and then this color will change as you're streaming. So like I'm going to click stop preview. I could actually, I've got to actually get on the program. I could actually start streaming right now, and it'd be kind of interesting to see what happens. I'm streaming a black screen to my audience now. If anybody's watching on Bamboozer, and I'll have to go back and delete this. But so anyway, and you can also do a local recording at the same time. You'll get that in the settings area. And that's my cue to leave.
No, it's not. I didn't have a better. I wanted an explosion, but I don't have one available.
But if you're not afraid to tinker around, I think I enjoyed it.
Open Broadcaster.
Yep.
From
Open Broadcaster. If you wanted to go to the site, it's
okay.
obsproject.com.
Gotcha. Is that Windows only?
Windows only.
Very cool.
I'll bet you it's got a back door.
And the cool thing about it is they also have a remote thing.
Controller?
Yes.
Wow.
It's called OBS Remote, and well, I tell you what, I don't know if I can.
I believe Nick was playing with this, and the only comments I've heard about OBS project so far have been very positive.
Mm-hmm. So you have this launch remote here.
Customize it, can you?
Yeah, I can make it bigger. So I can, if I were running and I stop it, but you'd be able to. All I have to do is do connect, and this is localhost. So any other PC on my network,
or anywhere in the world, I would hope.
Absolutely, yeah. You'd have to change your localhost stuff in here. But yeah, so
speaking of a lot of tabs being open.
Is that a lot of tabs? I mean, I hear people having 20 and 30 tabs open.
Hey, I don't know who it was. Oh, it was Jim Castro did a screen share, and he had about 200 open. You couldn't even read them. There were so many open.
Yeah, there's a point where it becomes counterproductive.
Right.
If I open too many on my XP machine, Chrome crashes. So... Anyway, we've got a new buddy here. Todd has joined us. Todd's a buddy of mine from the Left Host. And Todd is getting into the podcasting business. And has some questions. So I'd be glad to offer my 2 cents worth, and then everybody can weigh in on what they think. There is a certain segment of the podcasting community that advocates that when you record your podcast, now we're not talking live streaming here, we're talking recording, production for later downloading, that you use a computer plus an external recorder. You record your audio on the external recorder. The excuse that these guys give is that it's more reliable, that you're less likely to have a problem with an external recorder than you are by recording it on a computer. Well, I've been doing audio a long time, and I totally reject that. If you do a project and your computer crashes and you save the recording on an external recorder, that idea worked well for you. If your external recorder, if you forgot to hit record, if the cable connecting to the external recorder is flaky and creates static, if the flash card on your computer is corrupt or worn out and causes you to lose the recording, all of this, the external recorder is the way to go, is just pure poppycock. I have external recorders. I have a very nice one that almost I know of no one else who uses except in the professional recording industry. It's a Sony Pcm-M10. They're down to about $250. I really like it as a recorder. The menu is a little awkward. Unfortunately, it only has 3.5 millimeter input plugs on it, but that's the way it goes. I have another one over here I bought and had it reconditioned, and it screwed up my daughter's wedding. It skipped around because apparently it does not like the flash card that I put in it. So I totally reject this idea. Now, having said that, his question, he's asking about what's the advantage of having two computers versus one computer and a recorder. Well, it's actually a matter of personal preference. If you don't have room for a second computer, if you don't want a second computer, if you just want an external recorder, then by all means get one and do it. However, if your computer is powerful enough, and you say here that you have a MacBook Pro, and MacBook Pros, they do everything. They're wonderful. Never have problems and can run anything you want on them, I say a little sarcastically.
They fix coffee even.
Yeah, make coffee, change the oil in your car. And but what the bottom line is, you can do everything on the computer. Now, if you're going to do, and this is a question that we get all the time, and I got a ton of questions that I've gotten this week, and I don't think I've adequately answered any of them yet. But the setup is pretty standard. He did get a Behringer X1204 USB mixer that I recommended, which is excellent. It'll allow him to do Skype calls. But if you're going to bring in Skype calls like we're doing here on Computers 2K now, Bruce calls in to the studio on Skype, I'm calling in on Skype, Amnon's picking them up, and the audio is fed through the mixer, and the Skype is fed, video is fed through VidBlaster and all that. That's how we're doing this program. But to be able to do Skype professionally, I guess, or adequately at some level, you need to have a mix-minus feed. What that means is that whenever I send my audio to Bruce, to Amnon, Bruce sends his audio to Amnon. Amnon gets it from Skype through the speaker output on his VidBlaster computer. However, whenever Amnon sends Steve's audio back to Bruce and me, whenever Amnon talks to Bruce and me, when Amnon plays music back to Bruce and me, then we hear that perfectly, but what we do not hear is ourselves. And that is that Amnon at the studio has created a mix-minus signal. That is the mix. That's everything that's going out over the internet. That's the mix, the combination of all the audio sources I just mentioned, mixed together, going out over the internet. That's what Bruce and I are hearing coming back, minus Bruce and me. We don't want to hear ourselves because if we do, we'll get an echo. Now, the reality is that Skype is pretty good at echo cancellation. But when you get into complex signals, it does not work well. It will croak on you. Therefore, the best way to do that, to solve the problem, is create a mix-minus signal coming back to the Skype callers. And the way that works for you, Todd, is that you on your MacBook Pro, you will have to use 2 sound cards. One that you can use, the 1204 USB, a mixer has a USB port on it, so you will be able to connect your mixer by USB cable to your MacBook Pro. That means that the audio that you would record, well, let's take 2 scenarios here. You could record that audio on the Mac using GarageBand or Audacity or one of the programs that's used to record audio. That audio coming through the USB port into your computer would be the audio that you're going to save for your podcast. You could record it right there on the computer in addition to doing everything else for the podcast. You would run Skype on that computer. The simplest one is with a single guest. If you then take the output, an auxiliary output of your mixer, and we'll talk about this off the air. I don't want to get too deep into it now. But if the auxiliary send going into the MacBook through a separate audio input will allow you to send back the audio to the Skype caller without sending the Skype caller's audio back to him and creating an echo. That's what the mix minus is. You can do all that with no external recorder. Now, having said that, if you want to use an external recorder, all you need to do is to plug it into the tape output on the mixer. Then again, you're going to have to create a mix minus to send to Skype on the MacBook, but if you want to record your audio without having to use the MacBook to do it, then all you do is plug your external recorder into the tape out. That will record what's called program audio. Program audio is the same thing typically you're going to hear through your headphones. It's typically what the full audio is going to be on your podcast. So whether you want to use an external recorder is totally up to you. If you're on a budget, I don't know why you would spend the money, but if it's something you feel strongly about, then by all means do it. One of the most popular recorders, there's some popular ones out there now. The 2 of them are, and I don't know whether you have one, Bruce. I know Amnon has one. That's which one did you get, Amnon? The DRO5?
The what?
External recorder. You need to pay attention.
I don't know that
it's not that boring.
It is a DRO. No, I mean DR05, yeah.
So you got the DRO5 Tascam, which is
but it's a backup. It's not really
right. But my point is the other ones are the Zoom H4n, which will record up to 4 tracks at one time. The H2n does 2 tracks at one time. There's a new H6n coming out. And we can talk about external recorders. I won't do it now. But they're very useful, and they can not only provide a backup, but it can be your primary recording medium. My point is that you do not have to spend $200 on an external recorder to start doing a podcast. Absolutely, unequivocally unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm putting this graphic up just to let him know. I've done 2,205 consecutive episodes of my podcast on my PC without an external recorder and have not had one failure in any way. Now, knock on wood for Mike or whatever, but the contention that some make, and I know who you're talking about, that that you just gotta have an external recorder, is not a thing that I subscribe to. And I've done, and this is 2,205 episodes over 2 different laptops and a desktop, and never one failure.
And I know that what Mike went through right now can sound very complicated. He went through it real fast, but it is priceless information. And if you did not get it all, come back and listen to it, and you can hear it at your own pace. Stop and write and whatever you want to do. But this is this is the information that a podcaster needs for
an internet broadcaster.
This is not your mama's tech podcast show. I mean, I don't make any apologies for getting technical as Mike has gotten. I mean, that's I think that's one reason people come to the show to listen, because they're going to get good qualified stuff. So, and I like Amnon the fact that you didn't use the flushing sound on Mike like you did me. So.
Uh-huh.
He probably hit the wrong button. He found some new sound effects, Bruce, so there's no telling what you're going to get.
Yeah, no, I did an interesting question.
I didn't put it in jingle palette yet.
Yeah. Hey, Kent was asking a question, Mike. You might want to address it, where he says the question: what would be the cheapest USB mixer to use with a public speaker system like at a hotel? I'm not exactly sure what he's.
I'm not either. I wish he could call in and explain that. It would be much easier.
You are welcome to call in. If you're shy about calling in, I don't know how you're going to be successful doing a podcast, because you're going to be scared of the microphone. You do not have to call in if you don't want to, but we'd be glad for you to call in. There are two ways you can call in. The better way would be to call us on Skype, voice only, not video.
Computers 2K voice.
Computers 2K voice. And if you don't want to do that and you want to call in on the telephone, you can do that too at 919-518-9773, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 919-518-9773. Yes, can I use iPhone 5 as a backup? You know what? That's actually probably a pretty good idea. If you can get a line input signal into the iPhone 5, then I see no reason not to do it. There are quite a few companies that are trying to master this recording to iPhone, because it really is just another recording medium. I wouldn't waste my time doing it, because I've got an external recorder. I think that's not the appropriate device for the purpose. But, if you got it, you use what you got. There are any number of ways to do the same thing. There's no absolute right, absolute wrong way.
Right. Okay. If I could comment just a bit on Kent, because just in case this is what he's trying to do.
I'm trying to.
My college had a reunion at a Hilton hotel in Philadelphia, and we were doing a lot of broadcasting stuff. But most hotels, venues, they have their own system. Now, granted, it's really cheap, and it usually involves they can bring you out of and they charge you for everything, by the way,
Big time.
But as long as you can get to the line in of their mixer, and usually it's only got one or two inputs, but as long as you can get to the line in, I can take my USB Behringer 302 USB and take a line out and go into their mixer, and I can mix the music from my PC and my mic into the house system. And I'll set the house system EQ to kind of flat, and then control the EQ from my mixer. So if that's what you're talking about, if you're talking about just going into their speaker system without them having a powered mixer, you'd have to have a powered mixer to push that audio. But I think the first illustration is what he's really asking, and it works great.
Well, let me make a suggestion in that regard. If you're going to be traveling to to rooms with other systems, you had better consider the possibility of a ground loop. And you'd better invest in a couple of ground loop isolators that you use as a matter of source. I referred to my daughter's wedding, where I recorded the audio on 3 separate sources, and all 3 of them failed. All 3. One of them was my fault. What happened was I took my wife's laptop computer, and I plugged it into the house system as a backup. And it was things were busy. I was in a hurry, and I plugged it in, set it up. I had a ground loop isolator sitting in my tools right there beside the computer. They were hollering for me to come upstairs, so I said, it'll be fine. I did not use it. When I got the audio back, it turns out that the only complete audio that I had of the wedding was on that computer, and it has this horrible ground loop all the way through it. I have been to people around the world with various software programs trying to get the best quality copy of that I can without the ground loop in it. And I'm fairly close now, but almost all of it sounds robotic because it's a broadband noise that's in there. If I had taken my own advice, I knew better. I didn't do it. I was stupid. if I had taken my own advice, put a ground loop isolator in there, I would have stellar audio to add to the video for my daughter's wedding. So it's okay. I mean, the guy who recorded the video had a couple of shotgun mics set up, so it's as good as most weddings. But I had live mics on the groom and on the preacher. I mean, this thing would have sounded like a television production if I had only taken an extra 2 minutes and put that ground loop isolator into the circuit. It's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Having said that, there is a ground loop isolator that I bought that I really like. I've got to go see what the model number of it is. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, I put the link in there for TeacherCast, his website. It's kind of interesting. He does offer live streaming services for promoting different conferences and venues and stuff like that. And I think that's a great business.
The one I bought that I like, that I would use if I were going to travel with it, is the Behringer HD 400. It's $30. It's a stereo. So if you're going to record just mono audio, you can use the same box for input and output. If you're going to record stereo, you need two of them, one for the input, one for the output. If you're only going to play back, you only need one. If you're only going to record, you need one. If you're going to play back and record with somebody's external mixer, then I would recommend that you buy a couple of these things. Make sure you get the right cables. It will work as balanced or unbalanced. I'm not going to get into all that right now. You should have balanced cables and unbalanced cables. Used balance. If there is a balanced input on the mixer, then you should go from balanced on the HD 400 to balanced on the mixer. If either is unbalanced, you should use a TS unbalanced cable on both ends. That will help you solve a bunch of problems. If you use one of these, since it has a 1/4-inch phone plug input and output on it, you need to be prepared to connect it to a mixer using RCA plugs. You'd better also have a cable that allows you to connect to 1.8-inch stereo jack, because you don't know what you're going to run into in the field. But I'm warning you, if you're traveling, and Bruce, you should probably have a couple of these for the presentations that you do, even if you've never had a problem, the day may come. By the way, there's a quick workaround. If you connect your laptop or your USB mixer, if it can be powered from the system that's already connected, you're less likely to have a problem. But if you have to plug your system, your laptop, your computer, or external recorder into AC, you have the big potential for getting a ground loop.
Welcome, Spence.
Unbalanced operator like Andrew, no help. Can't help you. Best thing to do is get him a bottle and see if he'll go off in the room by himself and stay out of the way.
Morning, Spence.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody today?
Everybody's fine.
Any better, I'd be on vacation.
Yeah. If I was any better, I'd be twins.
Feeling better?
I joined just at the end of you talking about.
Oh man, you missed the good discussion this morning.
Yeah, but Amnon flushed me.
Oh, we've offended Bruce.
No, it's okay.
So what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Unfortunately, got a very late start today after being up very late last night. So
everything is fine.
Yeah, good. We're doing good. I got the specials all set to go when we're ready.
Bruce, what are you showing us?
Oh, I'm just I was just prepping for my next interruption.
Oh, interrupt.
It's a
okay.
screen capture of a Google. Was that
well,
your
this is my phone. You know, the Moto X phone came out.
Oh,
and Android Police has it's gone viral all over the internet. The camera app on the Moto X is really quite interesting, and so the APK is out there in the wild. And if you have your Android phone set up to sideload apps, you can do that. And you can see I've got two different camera apps. The one up here in the upper left-hand corner is the normal one, and then this one down here in the lower right-hand corner. And it's a very simple app. Okay, you're looking at it. Okay, so all you have to do if you want to take a picture with this thing, and now you're seeing the what I'm looking at here. Here, we'll focus on Mike. Okay, all I have to do is tap anywhere on the screen. So there's not a particular button that you do, and of course you can reverse, the camera, and but then if you swipe out from the left toward the right, you get this menu bar, and then you can swipe that back. If you swipe the other way, it takes you to your gallery. So it's really quite interesting, and so I like to play with stuff. So if you're interested in the APK for this, I like playing around with new stuff. So I've got the Moto X camera app on my beautiful Samsung Galaxy Note 2.
What's the APK?
APK is the installation file.
Oh, okay.
So, Bruce, does that come with a neck brace? So when you carry that thing around with you, it doesn't hurt your neck?
Actually, I have a special attachment on my water bottle carrier that I can hook my phone onto. And that's my recommended app of the week, the Moto X camera.
All right. I'm trying to map a drive here, and it just won't do it.
I came to appreciate just how good cameras are on phones. Recently, I started to do side work, doing home improvement, things like that, working for someone who does work for real estate agents and who helps people who want to flip houses or whatever. So I've been doing a lot of punch lists, things like that, going around fixing items to get ready for a house to be sold or waiting for a closing or whatever. So having my phone with me and be able to take pictures and easily access them and forward them in a text message to the people I'm doing the work for is just, it was good for taking pictures before for casual reasons or whatever, vacation, share pictures, things you're having fun with. But I'm using it now for business, and it actually is very, very convenient to have good quality camera that takes excellent low light pictures, especially when I'm under the crawl space in a house trying to get insulation or something like that. Plus some of the nice apps.
So did you finish doing the specials, you said?
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
I know they're ready when we're ready. They're ready.
I mean, it's okay. I don't know what happened to Steve. Steve dropped out.
He was going to his dad's.
Oh, okay. I looked and it was gone. But, we were talking about blocking sites. The Pirate Bay, on its 10th anniversary, has released Pirate Browser, which is claims would allow people to access the Pirate Bay and other such blocked sites. The Pirate Browser is a fully functional browser that currently works with Windows. According to the Pirate Browser website, the browser is basically a bundled package consisting of the Tor client and Firefox portable browser. The package also includes some tools meant for evading censorship in countries like UK, Finland, Denmark, and Iran, among others. So that is interesting. I'm trying to figure out how it would work because in most times when you block, you use DNS. But it looks like they're coming up with ways to evade it.
Well, DNS blocking is trivial to get around. right?
Well, not really. Not if you not if
You have
you
the
have.
IP address and the full URL.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep.
Andrew says he uses Tor.
For drinking?
Yuck, 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 yuck.
Mm.
But I mean, I was going to ask Steve a while ago, and I forgot. Not intended to be a political comment, but in the UK, as many problems as they have over there, do they really need to be wasting their resources telling people what they can and can't see on the internet?
It's a distraction.
I mean, really, I'm all for getting rid of garbage and things like that, and I think the government has a role to play in certain things. But, I mean, they've got people standing in bread lines because National Health Service is not able to provide benefits quickly enough, and they're taking the resources away from things that they have obligated people to do and using them to play with the internet. I don't get it. Well, I know what's going on, but it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
They need competence a lot like we do.
It's the wearing away of your sensitivities, because once you get used to one intrusion, what's another intrusion?
Yeah, one good intrusion deserves another.
Yep. So you get to the point where you're desensitized and accepting of one thing. Well, you know, it really is for the greater good. And then the next one comes along, and you've got
greater
Bloomberg
good
syndrome.
Greater good in whose opinion?
Well, that's it. I made an observation. I think I mentioned this on the show a while back, that on television shows, especially police procedural shows, where there seem to be many of these, notice that, and maybe I'm just noticing it, and maybe it's been happening all along, but it seems like there's been a kind of a breaking of the rules by police on shows where, oh yeah, it's okay, you know, we don't need probable cause to break into his house because we really need to stop this guy. He's a bad guy, so let's not wait for the warrant. Let's not wait for backup. Let's not wait for this. Let's just go ahead and do it. Or you got the guy in the interrogation room and nobody's looking, so I'm going to, you know, beat the guy in the head with something to get him to give up some information, because after all, the bomb's about to go off, so it's more important that we stop the bomb than... So it just seems like lately that there's just everywhere you go on all these shows, it's the same story, that it doesn't matter how you get the information, as long as you get it, it's okay, and that means everything winds up okay.
Huh?
Well, what would you do as an alternative? And I'm not defending that. I'm
not saying there's a problem. I'm just saying I'm noticing it, and I just sat there one night, put two and two together to say, you know, are we being... And actually it came out of a kind of a funny thought, because for years we've been seeing television shows about extraterrestrials, right? And I remember talking to a person about this one time, saying, are we being prepared to be given information that's been top secret? Are we being prepared so that when they reveal information about something that the world won't go crazy? And we kind of just wrote that off as, no, that's not true. It couldn't be, you know, it's just science fiction. But then the same thing is, then I thought about, well, wouldn't the same thing be true about other sensibilities that are presented in the media? And going back to how the old Soviet Union, one of their ideas, well, we won't conquer America with an invasion. We'll conquer America by stealing their culture and plant ideas into the popular culture that will bring about change.
Dr. John,
so much.
Dr. John RTP says we are being conditioned.
Oh, I think that's always true. But I mean, anybody in power,
well,
it's to their advantage to condition whether they start that way or not, with the best intentions.
No.
You don't want a long line of people waiting for favors to show up, or whatever, you know, the person who's ruling. It's like you give somebody all the power. If I was king, what I would do. And finally, when you're king, you realize, oh, crap, this is a lot of work. So,
But then,
just an observation.
Are there any aluminum foil hats on special this week? He lost his.
Oh no, we're past aluminum foil now. It's all carbon fiber.
All right, so listen. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, we're done.
So listen to this now. And everybody can go there to graphics.wsj.com/phone plan with both P's capital. I will type it in a minute. The Wall Street Journal has a handy online calculator to help you sort out which phone plan is best for you. But one thing you'll notice is that shared or family plans rarely offer any real savings or benefits beyond the convenience of having a single bill, says blogger Kevin Purdy, who is bracing himself to propose a phone plan separation with his wife. It's let me type it in here. Or somebody else did it? No. It's an interactive thing. sj.com/phone plan. Try that. Is it a? Well, it didn't show as a.
Put the brackets around it.
I did. It didn't show. It didn't show as a link, but it's showing.
There you go.
There you go. If you try that, you see. I mean, you have to answer questions and all that, and it's very interesting and funny that last week I was thinking about trying to see what would it be if it was 3, if we broke hours to 3.
I don't see how I'm not saving money with our family plan because it's $10 to add a second phone. You have to pay full price for the internet for all of them.
Right.
We're paying unlimited text messaging on 4 phones for $30.
I don't know. Try it. I have no idea. I mean, it's just a matter of finding out, and maybe then you find out. Oh yeah, we are saving. But it's always kind of the question has been in the back of my mind.
Well, the best way to save is to get rid of the darn thing.
Yeah.
I believe it. I think I haven't looked at the article, but I think what they're saying is that you think you're saving money when you may not be saving money. And based on the individual plans that are being offered, that may be the case. Part of the problem right now with plans is that if you're grandfathered under quote-unquote unlimited, if you make any changes to your plan, you lose the unlimited part of it.
Yep, we just did.
If it weren't for my work, I'd just about get rid of the darn thing.
I mean, you can go to, what is it, Boost or some of the other ones.
Prepaid plans.
And get individual ones that are about $50, and they have unlimited everything.
Before you get into that caller, Amnon, Jeff is
that's
asking.
Nick. That's Nick. Morning, Nick.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure out the PHP chat box that you're using.
Yeah.
It says, is it downloadable, or can you just put an embed code on the website? Is it hosted locally or hosted?
Oh no, it's hosted locally. Yeah, it's not an embed. It's hosted on our server. You can download the program, and this is actually an older version of it. There's a new version.
By the way, Jeff, you were asking about Roku apps, and Nick is online. Are you?
He talked. I think he talked. You talked.
Did you talk to Jeff?
No, I didn't.
You did?
Tell him what's happened since you put your own Roku app on your own show.
So hold on, let me open up my email and find the exact date. 1 second. Let's see. So my app got in the store the 16th, so 2 days ago. And my app has almost 800 downloads as of this morning, and my podcasts have almost 2,000 downloads this month compared to my normal 100 to 200.
Wow.
I know our numbers went way up after we added the Roku app. Absolutely.
That was after you started advertising on those billboards.
Yeah.
And the bus benches.
That's right. The bus benches are
High tech.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Amnon knows how to get the butts in the seats.
Hit it, Mike.
Well, let's see which one.
Andrew, you got a bunch.
Yeah, Uncle Guy. That's what he's talking about. Yeah. Nick writes Roku apps.
Yeah, explain what you do, Nick.
I'm currently in the, I guess you could say, the business of creating Roku apps, mostly for podcasters and people that are looking to put RSS video and live feeds on a Roku app, I guess.
Well, you don't have to elaborate too much if you don't want to.
Well, I don't really know how much more to elaborate. I mean,
who needs one? Why? How does it work? How would they go about contacting you? What information do you need? Why should they do it? Do they have to have a live 24/7 stream? Can they do it with a 1 week only podcast? There are all sorts of questions people would ask.
I really don't want to make it an infomercial, but
go ahead. People want to hear this stuff.
Yeah,
okay,
we're asking.
So there's a few ways to do it. You could do it with just an RSS feed, which is pretty simple. You would do your podcast, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, however you would do it. And the RSS feed would be built into the Roku app, and people would be able to open that Roku app and, click on the different episodes, view the episodes from weeks past, or you could do it with live video or live audio, similar to Amnon's app, where you could go on there, and when you do your show live, you could watch it live on the Roku, or you could watch also the pre-recorded shows from weeks past as well. And I guess the third option is if you have multiple shows, like the GFQ app, you can have a variety of all the different shows that you do, plus a live audio/video feed as well.
And if you have a Roku, how do they look to see these applications? How can someone find the Computers 2K Now application, the GFQ application? How can they go see the applications that you've done, play with them, and see how they work to determine if this is something that they should add to their own system?
I think the easiest way to do it, since the search functionality kind of sucks on the Roku itself, is go to Roku.com, sign into your account, go to the Channels tab in the nav bar, and search channel by name. You can click the Install button, and then inside your Roku, do a system update check, and it will install the latest apps.
But the Roku, we are, of course, we all talk offline. We have little groups we talk offline. We're stunned at how much traffic the Roku app is bringing to the podcasting. It's pleasantly surprising.
Yep.
Uncle just posted the instant Roku or instanttv.channel.com, and I've done a little testing with this. And it's not very simple. It was much easier for me to build the app from scratch than to try to figure this thing out. This was very complicated, and there wasn't functionality in terms of adding M3 U8s or RSS feeds. Stuff had to be very set to what they wanted to do, and I found it very confusing.
And there are many, many people out there creating apps. Nick charges for his time. He's entitled to. And if it's worth it,
if you can do it on the web and all that, I mean,
that's fine.
I looked at it and I said, what?
It's a whole lot easier to call Nick and say, here's what I need you to do. And he gets all the information, puts it together, turns it on, it works.
Yep.
And it normally takes, if you're fast with getting me all the information, I could have the app done in 2, 3, 4 days, depending on, what I have to do with images and whatnot.
Well, what does this say? To your point, Mike, earlier, what does this say about people? Is there evidently there's pretty good discoverability on Roku for finding this stuff if we're seeing such an exponential growth? And
I don't get it, Bruce. I mean, it blows my mind. That's why I'm asking Nick about these things, because I
don't get it.
I downloaded.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't. I downloaded the Computers 2K Now app, the GFQ app, and I think I downloaded Nick's. I'm not sure. Certainly the Twit app. And if you use your Roku, it really opens up that box to allow you to use your TV. Like if I had an HD TV up here, a widescreen TV, I probably would have the Roku box going most of the time. I've got a really old TV here, and the stuff on the internet doesn't look really good on an old CRT TV that I have in this room. But to me, it just opens up the box. If you're into internet broadcasting and podcasting, like most people here are, or they wouldn't be here, it just gives you another device that you can use. It doesn't burn up your computer. Now, you don't have chat and all that, but if you just want to leave it running in the background, it's a great way to do it. Now this part I don't really know what I'm talking about. You guys can correct me, but even when you have the smart DVDs and the smart TVs, I'm still not sure they give you access to everything. I'm not so sure that you get access to the same content, even though it's getting smarter and smarter. But the Roku just makes it a menu-driven method of getting something on your TV without interfering with having to use your computer and tie it up for doing other things. I really like it. And apparently some people like it because these numbers are just, they're very exciting to see how many people are at least downloading the app. And apparently once they download the app, they're at least sampling the show. Now, having said that.
That's where I was going to get into right there.
What? Well, go ahead.
Was the whole point of the people that have Rokus, for the most part, are somewhat techie people. This thing hasn't caught on mainstream yet like smartphones. It's geeks, people that are into technology, get a device like the Roku. So, people are downloading apps to say, let's see what this app does. How does this app look? Does it work right? They check out the app. Maybe they play 30 seconds of a video, and then they might just delete the app and never turn it back on again. And I think that's the hard part about this is, I have 800 downloads, but I guarantee you not 20 of those people are ever going to open that app again, because I think people just download the apps and either walk away from it, or maybe they turn on their computer and actually try to find out some more information. But I'm not sure if the discoverability is really working if people aren't constantly going to be opening your app and viewing your content. And I don't think there's a way to measure that, unfortunately, because you just see raw downloads.
And the discussion that we had offline is that 800 people downloading your podcast does not mean you have 800 new listens. These people may download it, listen to the first 30 seconds of it and say, what is this crap, and turn it off. Or you could pick up a new permanent listener. For some reason, people listening here now, they at some point listened, decided it was something they like, so they keep coming back. If they had not heard about it or clicked on it or gone to it or been told about it, they wouldn't be here because there'd be no way to find it. The big challenge on the internet is how to get even the information regarding the presence of your show into the hands of those who might enjoy listening to it. There's a new thing out now, quote unquote, certified statistics for podcasters. Total joke, absolute joke. The idea is that we're going to provide documentation that all of the podcasts downloaded through our service are legitimate. Therefore, we're going to certify them. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go deep into this one because it's not complimentary, but the reality is that let's suppose that you are hosting your podcast with Libsyn, Libsyn.com. I'm just picking them as an example. Libsyn has good statistics, and they will tell you how many people download your podcast. Let's say 800 people download your podcast. Fine. How many of those people listen to your podcast? How many of those people listen to more than 1 minute of your podcast? How many of them listen to your podcast all the way through? How many of them liked it? How many of them would be willing to spend money with an advertiser on your podcast? So the fact that you got certified statistics, certified downloads, only matters, even the certified part doesn't matter. The number of 800, that's probably all the NSA's downloads. But the only thing that matters is that the likelihood that you will gain new regular listeners or viewers is greater with 800 downloads than it is with 100 downloads. That's the only statistic in my mind that really matters. And that is the more you get, the better. But once you get them there, if you don't give them content that interests them and holds their attention, all you've done is gotten a download that means absolutely nothing.
Right.
This thing says that Uncle Guy is Roku.com/developer. You have to do that to submit the app, don't you, Nick?
Yeah, you have to sign up for
There's a lot of
account.
A lot of things you have to go through. I mean,
and most of the time that there's an issue with your app, I have never had an app go directly through the store. There's always some issue you have to troubleshoot with. To be honest, the biggest issue tends to be WordPress posts, because WordPress will add little short tags in there somewhere, and it will break part of the app. So there's, besides just getting the RSS feed in the app, there's a lot of troubleshooting sometimes you have to do to get the app actually into the store publicly.
And part of your fee is to keep monitoring that and to keep it working at least for a period of time.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't nickel and dime people to death when things break, and things have broken.
yep.
Sorry to say, but all those new hits are just the NSA discovering the show.
Well, maybe one of them will watch again. Maybe that's.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get some.
Maybe
I mean, we don't discriminate. NSAs are just good listeners. Is the probably better listeners.
Yeah, they're sitting there doing nothing, listening on the internet. We're glad to have them.
Exactly. Here's one. There's no surprise that few people love their pay TV providers. In May, Variety reported that the American Consumer Satisfaction Index ranked cable television providers last in all consumer categories. Pent-up frustration with cable and satellite TV providers fuels a steady buzz that Amazon, Apple, Google, and Netflix will disrupt TV. These new entrants promise to offer variability in pricing and greater choice, fueling notions that Americans have officially cut their proverbial cords. But true disruption is wishful thinking. Data from the PricewaterhouseCoopers Global Entertainment and Media Outlook for 2013 through 2017 doesn't support a disruptive market scenario. Incumbent cable and satellite pay TV providers and over-the-top challengers such as Amazon and Netflix are both forecasted to grow. Why do they call it over-the-top? I thought there were top boxes. Over-the-top TV has only reinvented a single part of the TV business: streaming archival movie and television content over the internet, replacing physical DVDs and time-shifted DVR replay of TV programs. To displace incumbents, over-the-top TV has to continue to change TV business models in ways that appeal to consumers and attract content owners. They don't even talk about what we do. The internet broadcasters like us, which a lot of people are turning into. They don't even acknowledge us here.
You mean this is bad reporting?
This is bad reporting.
Wow, never heard of that.
No such thing.
Overall, from a consumer perspective, do the providers rank even lower than proctologists?
The EFF has helped launch a new site to help potential victims of patent trolling. It is called trollingeffects.org and is designed to parallel the way chillingeffects.org helps those getting DMCA letters. The idea is to educate the targets and help them work together for more cost-effective defense. Interesting. Did you know about these, Mike?
I did.
Okay.
I actually know a guy who's deep in the bowels of the EFF. He's a very brilliant attorney who's, in fact, done a lot of work on Supreme Court cases.
Good. Hey, Nick, tell us about your show.
On the radar?
You have
it's
the show?
Yeah. Okay. It's a gaming and tech podcast that I do every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Tell me about the other show.
Or another show.
I don't know. You said on the radar, as though there are others.
I don't know if you're referring to something else. No, I only do one show.
Every Friday night at 7 o'clock, Nick does a great show on radargaming.net. Those of you who are into games and have to tune in. And he's got also a tech section of it. And he beats us to it because he's on Friday, we're on Sunday.
Yeah, even if you're just into technology, you can watch the first 15 minutes and then turn it off after that if you're not interested in the gaming.
But it's interesting. I mean, I'm not into gaming, and it's interesting to hear the stories and the discussion about gaming.
By the way, we have several podcasters here, and including Todd is towards becoming one. Jeff is already one. The IAIB, and I'm not talking out of school here. No secret. Anybody wants to beat them to the punch, go for it. But the IAIB is doing the initial work on setting up a 24/7 audio-only streaming channel that would allow you, those people who have a once-weekly internet broadcast or podcast, it would allow your content to be streamed 24/7 in rotation with other podcasters. And what we're saying here is that if, like Nick's podcast is on once per week, and he's not going to set up a 24/7 stream that does nothing but stream his podcast over and over and over and over and over again. But the idea is that there might be a slot where Nick streams his podcast at 7 o'clock each day for 3 days, 4 days. So people would know to Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday they could tune in at 7 p.m. in their car and listen to it. Or it might be on. We don't know what the answers of these things will be yet. But the idea is that we're doing the research now for the IAIB to actually to have the server, to whether it's IceCast or whatever it is, to have the server that that the members would be able to some extent have their content streamed during that live stream for a very minimal charge, which really involves just helping to offset the server costs. And I mean, and even initially it would be free, but it would be a variety. It's not really a network, and the reason it's not a network is that you could make the argument that the people listening to Nick's show are not going to be necessarily the same people listening to Rick's House Home Improvement show, which we would like to have on Roku and streaming 24/7, maybe through TuneIn, through Stitcher, through some of the other resources,
Right.
and certainly through its own website. But if we were to say that if you missed today's show, Rick's House Show, which is Saturday from 8 until 10, you can tune in Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern or 10 p.m., whatever the number may be, maybe even rotate it, so that you would pick up the additional people who don't have time to listen at that time of the day. 8 o'clock on Saturday morning is painful out on the West Coast. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to pick up a lot of West Coast live listeners with a show that starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. So
You got people that haven't gone to bed yet.
Especially out on the West Coast.
Yeah. Clubs only open at 11 o'clock.
Oh, I know. Myrtle Beach opening at midnight.
Did everybody see the movie Cars?
The automated show?
The first one or the second
The
one?
animated, yeah.
Yeah, the animated movie.
Everybody's seen it, right?
I've seen half of it.
The U.S. Department of Transportation has high hopes of standardizing the way autos talk to each other and with other intelligent roadway systems of the future. The department recently issued a call for public and private researchers and experts to help it build what the DOT called a hypothetical four-layer approach to connect vehicles, devices, and applications certification. So they want cars to talk to each other.
What are they going to say?
I don't know. I don't speak cars. But isn't that interesting?
Well, so then we're going to have a discussion as to whether cars should be allowed to use profanity in there.
Yeah, that's true.
Larry.
And what do you do when one does use it?
And what if
Do
it
you cause
offends
it?
you?
Do you cause it to stop right there? Do you steer it to a corner?
How do you disable the black boxes that are coming?
Yeah, that's true. But you know something? If they do have a system like that, that's when internet in the car is going to be a fact. Because at that point, they have enough to have it all over.
Most of those boxes work off of the cellular data network.
Oh, I'm not talking about the black boxes. I'm talking about the system where they communicate between them, because then you know that there's stuff in the pavement.
Well, prepare yourself for a consumption tax that is based on where you go, when you go, how fast you go.
Yeah.
There already have been lawmakers who've talked about that as a creative way to collect tolls and taxes on vehicles. They'll actually look at real-time data for where you are, what time of day you go there, and they will charge you accordingly for the use of the road.
Hey, this begs the question, has there been any talk or have you heard anything about black boxes for motorcycles? Could that be an alternative?
A bicycle?
Along with antique cars, bicycles, Segways.
Well, like anything else, if they phase it in, then the outrage is not as great. If they just mandated starting tomorrow, everybody has to have this box, and everybody would be up in arms. But if it was something that there have been black boxes in cars for a long time. There were some high-profile court cases about rental car agencies putting black boxes in cars and then detecting a person left the state, which was not part of their contract, and then suing the renter for damages and other charges. And I think a case actually made it through several layers of appeal because they were never disclosed that the black box was in the car. So the guy got off because even though he went outside of the contract area, he was never disclosed that there was something in the car to tell the renter or the agency that did the renting what was in the car.
Yeah.
So it's.
Susan says, "What if the car decides you're too fat and it won't let you drive to McDonald's?"
Yeah.
And those boxes you're talking about, they also check to see if you speed.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm sorry, sir. Your vehicle has a failed inspection, your catalytic converter is bad, and your black box has been disabled.
In order for you to drive your vehicle today, you must give us an active checking account with at least $200 in it, so we can subtract money for you every time you go over the speed limit.
Speaking of stupid stuff, someone I know, I won't call any names, so I don't want to embarrass him or her, drove through North Carolina's toll road over here at RTP, received a bill for $1 or $2, I don't know, it was a very low amount, chose not to pay it, chose not to pay it, chose not to pay it. There's a $6 per month penalty that you don't pay it. Then there is a fine after a certain period of time, and it ended up costing them in excess of $50 after 6 months. Totally their own fault. Totally, it was actually a little more to it. The bill got mailed to the wrong address, but it was their fault for not changing the address. But if you get that 52-cent bill for driving on toll roads in North Carolina, keep in mind that the state has now relegated itself to making money the same way Blockbuster did. That's on fines and penalties.
Well, I know someone who used the toll road, and the bill was 40 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs more than that to send the 40 cents in.
That's all right. Alan says, whatever happened to pay at the gate tolls? We don't have gates here. We have cameras that grab your license plate number and send you a bill.
Really?
And
Yeah.
I want to understand why North Carolina chose to use their own transponder that's not compatible with the rest of the Northeast from Virginia north, where you could get an easy pass that you could use from Virginia all the way to Connecticut and Massachusetts for tolls, but we have our own that's only good in North Carolina.
We're smarter than they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Which is why I have a New York Easy Pass.
Yeah, we have an Easy Pass. Very useful.
Yeah, we don't, just like Jeff is saying in the chat, we don't have toll collectors. There are no people there.
It's just
That's surprising.
You don't even, unless you read the signs overhead. I mean, if you don't even know that you're on a toll road.
Yeah, when I was in Florida, I was running a convention at the Orange County Convention Center, and I always rent a car from Budget, and they've got the little transponder behind the rearview mirror, and it's got a switch on it, and the default it's flipped up, which means it's off. But because I was going to be going through multiple toll booths for 2 and 3 days in a row, I just switched it down so I could just go right through the Easy Pass, and it just added it to my credit card, which is reimbursed by my company. So I like that convenience.
Yeah.
So it used to be a perk where you got Easy Pass for free if you rented from Budget, but now they charge you for it.
Yeah, I really object to the entire toll road thing because North Carolina has the highest gas tax in the Southeast, if not the country. They already have the money to keep the roads and maintain and build the roads, but unfortunately the politicians take the money out of the highway fund and squander it on other useless things. So they use toll roads to make up for their gross inefficiency.
Right, that's what they should do. I mean, they should put tolls on all the roads that needs it and lower or take away the tax.
Yeah, that's going to happen. I'm going to sit here and wait.
Yeah,
on
I
that.
know.
I have some good news.
Oh, good.
Somebody bid on my phone on eBay.
How long did you put it in there for?
7 days.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, today will be 7 days.
Oh,
tonight.
Is this your crack screen note?
So I got the. I don't think you were here.
No, he doesn't know that you.
Yeah. So I brought it to this kiosk place in the mall, and they said they could replace it. They replaced it. They didn't put the screen on right. So the bottom of the touchscreen doesn't work, and air gets under the touchscreen. So it works, but doesn't work well.
So it becomes a bubble screen.
Yeah, the touchscreen's very flaky, but the pen works fine. So all somebody would have to do is replace the top layer of Gorilla Glass, and it would work fine.
I still think you need to go back over to the mall before you send
Well, if this, I'm selling the item as is with the script described already. So if I can just get it out of my hands, I'd rather do that.
As long as you tell people that that's the situation, that's fine.
Yeah. The only problem is people claim they hear what you say, and then they get it. Oh, I didn't realize that I had to use this or that or the other.
I put being sold as is in the description, so
Right.
I should be fine.
But Nick, you're smarter than the average person. Just remember, you're probably dealing with a low information voter, and as is to you is very clear, and to them, it means lifetime warranty.
It is also very clear to eBay and PayPal, as is.
Yeah. Actually, Eric told me to do that.
Yeah.
He said make sure you just throw as is in the bottom of the description, so if they come after you, say, well, I told you.
I totally agree, but I'm just telling you, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we don't want to see you on Judge Judy.
I mean, it's still. I mean, it's still a good price for the phone. Anyway, I mean.
Yeah, I mean the underlying touch screen, the actual like LCD screen itself, sells for $200. So if this is somebody buying it, I hope somebody with some type of technical background is buying it and going to strip it for parts. That would be the thing to do.
I did. I've talked here before about Wake Free Cycle. I've been struggling over the last few years whether I'm a hoarder. I don't think I am. I gave away 8 UPSs, some of them with brand new batteries. I'll bet you that of these things, a couple of them were probably bad, a couple of them probably are like new, and the others are in various states of good or bad. But I bet you there probably was $200 worth of very usable batteries in those things, and some bad batteries. And so I gave them all away, and I haven't had any withdrawal symptoms or anything.
Were they picked up at once or
all at one time? Gave them to one person.
One person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thought it was really funny because the guy who picked them up had his wife come by and pick them up.
Well, I mean, he knew what he's getting, and he wanted to be able to get it.
You know how heavy 8 UPSs are? And bless her heart, I was in the backyard when she came by. I was going to help her load them in the car. When I came back, they were gone.
Yeah.
So I stand corrected now. Dr. John pointed out that they started the Quick Pass, North Carolina Quick Pass started covering other states. If you had the original one, the thin one, it works with the Florida Sun Pass. But if you get the new thick one, it actually works with Sun Pass and Easy Pass. So there you go. So they had to come out with a slightly different technology to get it to be compatible with other systems. Well, that's good. I'll dump my New York one and I'll pick up the North Carolina one.
Thanks for your research and not passing by on that.
What is the hard case version?
It's a thicker version of it. If you're familiar with the Easy Pass, it's maybe
I am not
3/4 of an inch thick. It's kind of it's thicker on one end than it is the other. But it's
I refuse to drive and pay on a road I've already paid for.
But if you travel to the Northeast, you go through New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you have to cross over toll bridges. It's very convenient to actually charge less. The Jersey Turnpike, for example. And they charge less than the regular fee if you go through the normal toll booth. And you just zip right through. You don't even have to stop for the, wait in the queue. So it does save a lot of time and it saves some money. Although some of the tolls getting in and out of New York now are insane.
Uncle Guy is talking about the various gas taxes, and the statistic that I have often heard quoted about North Carolina is the highest gas tax in the Southeast. And at one point, it was either higher than or at least competitive with the New York and the California rates. Who knows what's happened in the last 5 years? My statistics are at least 5 years old.
Yeah, it's one of the highest in the nation. Let's put it this way.
It's top 10 for sure. And for a state that's number 47 in education, it's number 10 in tax or 5 in gas tax or whatever the number is, it's...
And number 49 in...
Internet?
No, well, internet and unemployment management.
Well, it's amazing what 140 years of one-party domination does to your political system.
Yeah.
My wife and I enjoy watching House Hunters International every once in a while, and I have thought about what it would be like to consider becoming an expat.
And move to southern Italy?
No, Panama, Belize, Costa Rica.
Yeah, nice places.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice.
I know people who have done that, and they say it looks good on paper, but the actual execution of it is not quite what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Uber Geek says Canada. Nope, too cold up there.
How about Egypt?
Egypt.
Yeah, if you want to start over.
Do we have specials?
Do we have specials, Spence? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, let's go with the specials, and then we'll come back to general discussion.
All right. Okay. So, thank you. We actually have several things at Walmart today as they get back into their back-to-school mode. They've got a Google Nexus 7 tablet for $229. I think that's a pretty standard price that's out there. The prices have been coming down. They've got an AMD E1800 processor, HP 15.6-inch laptop, 4 gig of memory, 320 gig hard drive for $298. This is a pretty This is the HP 2000 laptop. They've recently upgraded the processor from the I think it was the E1 1500 to the E1 1800. I have this machine running Windows 7. It's actually a very good coffee table machine used for just about everything. They've got a very inexpensive dual-core tablet called the Zero for $89, save 10. They've got a Toshiba 15.6-inch Celeron dual-core touchscreen laptop for $349 or $399. That's $50 off, and it also comes with a $50 Walmart gift card if you buy any touchscreen laptop from Walmart. So that makes the price $349. It's probably the cheapest touchscreen laptop that's out there. They've also got the Netgear N300 wireless router for $44.97. That's at Walmart. Tiger Direct, they've got a 1 terabyte portable USB hard drive for $69.99. 16-inch LED monitor for $59.99. 20-inch monitor for $79.99. A 23-inch monitor for $109.99. And a 27-inch monitor for $199.99. They've got the TrendNet brand micro wireless N USB adapter for $999 and the TrendNet N wireless router for $19.99. And keep in mind that most new laptops over the last few years are going to come with wireless N, so this may be useful if you have an older machine that has a wireless G adapter in it. You want to get it up to N speed, but check the drivers, make sure they're compatible with the operating system you have. Pretty sure this works with Windows XP, although it won't be around too much longer. Kingston USB hard drive, 16 gig for $899, 32 gig for $17.99, 64 gig for $37.99. They've got the Clear wireless hotspot and wireless router on sale. Both of them are $41.99. And you have to get a Clear account, but the Clear account is unlimited 4G wireless. And you have to be very careful to check your location to see what the coverage is like and the speed is like. Micro SDHC cards with SD adapters, 8 gig for $5.99, 16 gig for $9.99, 32 gig for $17.99. SanDisk, 128 gig solid state drive, $94.99. And a 256 gig version for $169.99. That's at Tiger Direct. At Staples, they've got a Dell 1160W wireless mono laser printer, $49, save $70. They've got the Brother HL 2280 DW wireless mono laser printer. It's a printer scanner copier with duplex printing for $99. That's 27 pages per minute. They've also got the Brother HL5470W wireless mono laser. This is not a scanner, but a dedicated mono laser printer with two-sided printing, duplex printing. This is 40 pages per minute for $179.99. They've got the Logitech K310 washable keyboard. So I don't know if it goes in the washing machine, but it says washable, so you're able to wipe this down. So if you're the kind of person that eats while they type, $19.99, save $20. Seagate Backup Plus desktop hard drive, 2 terabytes for $99.99, 3 terabytes for $119.99, 4 terabytes for $179.99. They've got an HP Windows 7 desktop. This is the desktop only, no monitor, for $359, save $70. They got a Lenovo i3 desktop with Windows 8 for $399. That's $100 off the regular price. And they've got an 11.6-inch Acer AMD A4 touchscreen laptop for $379.99. That's $100 off. That's all at Staples. At Office Depot, they've got a 15.6-inch Toshiba E1800 laptop, $279. That's similar to the price at Walmart. Save $120. Intel dual-core Acer 8.1-inch Windows 8 tablet, 32 gig solid-state drive with Bluetooth front and rear camera, micro SD slot, HDMI output, and it comes with Office Home and Student Edition for $299, save $80. Seagate 1 terabyte desktop drive for $69.99, save $10. Western Digital 2 terabyte cloud drive for $139.99, save $10. Lenovo 15.6-inch Intel Windows 8 laptop with a combination. It's a combo with the Lenovo 7-inch IdeaPad. Get both for $379, save $150. Asus 11.6-inch touchscreen with Intel processor. This is a Windows 8 machine, 4 gig with a 500 gig hard drive, $359, save $70. Continuing with Office Depot, Samsung 21.5-inch LED monitor for $119, save $30. They've got a wireless HP mono laser printer for $99, save $60. And they've also got a really inexpensive 7-inch Android tablet for $64.99. That's at Office Depot. Office Max has their brown bag special where you can fill the bag, anything you can put in the bag for 20% off. I think they also give you 20% off on other items that don't fit in the bag. But they do have also an Acer 24-inch HD LED monitor for $143.99. And they've got a Lenovo dual-core small form factor desktop, 4 gig of memory, 1 terabyte hard drive for $255.99. That's $80 off. That's an Intel processor at Office Max. Finally, at Best Buy, they've got a Brother MFC J4575DW all-in-one inkjet printer with wireless and duplex for $49. That's really cheap. Now, it says DW. D typically stands for in the model number for a duplex. I can't believe they have a printer that prints on both sides for $49. But I'll go back and check that model number when I'm done. They've got an 11.6-inch Asus Intel dual-core touchscreen laptop for $329.99. HP i3 15.6-inch laptop for $369.99. 20-inch Acer LED monitor for $89. Western Digital 2 terabyte portable USB 3.0 hard drive for $129, save $10. They've got a Seagate 3 terabyte desktop USB 3.0 hard drive for $119, save $10. And finally, the Logitech K400 wireless keyboard with glide pad for $24.99, save $15. That's all at Best Buy. And that be it.
Well, there you
are.
Be
awesome job.
There we go. Oh, I want to make a quick note about that washable keyboard. You can put it in it's like 3 or 4 inches of water as long as you don't put the actual USB cable underwater, and it actually works pretty well. We have them.
You can use it poolside then.
Right. What'd you say, Nick?
We use them in the science labs at school. If you spill chemicals or something on them, you just put it under the water and clean it. They're actually really nice. Yeah, and they actually work. I mean, you can't put it in a dishwasher and wash it, but you can put it in some.
You can try.
So
3 or 4 inches of water.
Did you say it's as long as you don't put the USB?
Yeah, like the actual part that plugs into the computer, you cannot put that underwater.
What? Really? But you could wrap it in plastic.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that underwater though.
It's just interesting that
then
the
you could
connector.
Short your computer. Well, the connector's not. Of course, the connector you can't put in. Yeah.
So is anybody else getting invitations to look at this new social media thing called Circle, the local network?
Yeah, I got that.
I did.
It's really quite an interesting interface. I haven't played around with it. I haven't invited anybody to it, but it's kind of like Facebook and Twitter for your local area.
Yeah,
it's a very nice UI though.
I saw. Can you invite people to it?
Yes.
Would you mind sending me an invite?
Oh no! You just download the app in the Android Play Store or the iPhone Store, and then you invite people that you know into your circle. But it's
Nick,
it's really pretty.
Didn't you get it? Bruce does not want to invite you.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to invite you.
It's not closed.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like an Ingress kind of beta.
Oh no.
So I just bought a new phone.
You did?
Off eBay, yeah.
What'd you buy?
The Note 2.
As is?
No,
Are you sure you didn't buy yours?
Oh, damn it. Crap. I knew it was such a good price. It said it'll be here tomorrow.
So you bought a Note 2, which is the same one that you had, right?
Yeah. Unlocked and it will work on AT&T.
How much?
$544.
Wow.
It's actually a good price. They're like $800 new.
And you're selling yours for what, 200 and some?
Yeah, right now it's got like 9 hours left. But something funny, the item is on eBay and it's about 15 minutes away. That's where the guy's located.
So you can go down there and get it.
Well, nah, but I want to do it through eBay in case there's a problem with it.
I would too, but I would go pick it up.
Yeah, tell him not to charge you for shipping.
Shipping's free. I'll just wait.
Just to confirm, sorry to interrupt there, that MFC J475DW printer that's on sale for $49 does two-sided printing.
Okay.
Is that a brother?
It's a brother, yep.
We've got one, and it's a little quirky on connectivity, but it's a very good printer.
It's laser?
I've had several over the years, and they've outlasted my expectations.
Yes. They're worth the money. Now that's a laser or
it's an inkjet. Inkjet. But it's compact. It is it does do. It's a scanner. It's a. I believe it's a fax machine. Yes, it's a fax machine also.
Yeah, and I believe those are the cartridges that we found. They were so cheap. I don't know if they were reman or if they were even new, but they were so cheap that Nabil said it really wasn't worth spending the time to fill the old ones.
Which cartridges?
For the Brother MFC 465N. I don't know what the number is.
I'll tell you the cartridge in a second. I'm on the webpage.
Yeah, Brother has good ability to be refilled.
But I actually I probably bought them reman, but I mean, they were
That's fine.
I think they were $5 a piece, so I just bought a ton of them rather than have to bother Nabil with it. I give him all my old cartridges anyway so that he can refill them in his spare time and have them available to swap with people when they want to come by. He can just swap cartridges with them, and they're good to go with a refilled cartridge on the spot. And he also has time to test them and let them sit and make sure nothing leaks out and all that, so it actually works out really well. I've got a big bag that we're going to take to him today if he's there.
I have something.
It uses L101 cartridges.
No,
that's not what mine uses, but it's probably very similar.
Yep.
I don't think that's what
It's it's actually 4 ink tanks, I believe. I don't think it's cartridges.
Yeah.
To all you parents who have kids that are going to go to college or going to college.
Should I call my parents?
A study in the journal Computers and Education found that students who took notes on a laptop got lower marks than students who took notes the traditional way, with pen and paper. The study author hypothesized that using a laptop leads to multitasking, like surfing the net or checking email, which reduces concentration. So I remember the days when it was the first year with Larry and his daughter when UNC required students to come to class with a laptop. So think about this. Lower marks. And Nick, you agreed that it would happen if you took a computer to class, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, like I wouldn't be working on Roku apps in the middle of school. I mean, there's unfortunately there's so much that you can do with them that it ends up becoming bad.
Right. So it's an interesting observation. You wouldn't think. I mean, I saw this and I said, "Wow."
So Eric just said Saturday morning gaming with my son.
Where did he put this?
In Twitter.
Oh.
Anybody? We need to probably let him in on a little secret.
What?
It's Sunday.
Oh, it is. I'll let him know.
He's probably posting a link to something he did yesterday.
Oh,
Saturday,
actually,
first saw it. Actually, you may think it's Saturday.
No, yes, this was recorded 24 hours ago. So yes, it was a show that he did yesterday.
What a beautiful Monday is! Oh, it's a beautiful Monday.
Yeah.
To fend off the chilling effects of heavy-handed internet restrictions, the UK consumer rights organization Open Rights Group wants to create a new version of the 404 page not found error called 451, unavailable, to specify that a web page wasn't simply not there, it was ordered to be blocked for legal reasons.
Ooh.
So you know that, the server is up, the website is up, but it's being blocked, which is not a bad idea.
No, but if you're running any CMS like WordPress, a 404, you would tell it's not server. It's the theme that comes up. That's like here. Let's see. Let me RadarGaming.net.
Oh, really?
Amnon. So if we go to that, this is what a WordPress 404 looks like. So I don't think that you need to have anything new for that. In most sites like Amazon, a 404 still shows up as a page. It's not just a white page of text.
Okay, it's a 404, but at this point, I don't know whether it's because the page did not come up. Did I spell it wrong?
But you know it's not blocked.
That's true. That's true because the rest of it is up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
He's saying blocking for a legal reason. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting. That's just don't you think that's just going to confuse more people?
I mean, I don't know how many people pay attention to what number it is. I mean, being an ISP, I always have to pay attention to what's the number.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I think this is like to make people aware that somebody's blocking that particular page. So people can start complaining. I don't know. And you said that the story about Microsoft reversing the course of another aspect of the Xbox was not really an important.
I don't think it's not important. I just don't think not a lot of people use it. So
AOL is in the news again.
AOL?
AOL is closing or plans to sell nearly half of the 900 hyperlocal news websites operated by its money-losing Patch Media subsidiary.
Never heard of it.
Do what?
Never heard of it.
Hundreds of staff layoffs are believed to be imminent. AOL acquired Patch in 2009, soon after ex-Googler Tim Armstrong took over as CEO. Armstrong was also a co-founder of Patch. During a tough conference call last Thursday, Armstrong told Patch editors, "Something at Patch has been missing for some time, and that's leadership. Leadership with a capital L." He's been demonstrated his grasp of Donald Trump management style by firing an employee during the meeting for taking a picture. Interesting. The AOL, I mean, we don't hear about them much anymore, but they're still out there. He said, "Abel, you're fired. Out." The reason I fired Abel is I don't want anyone taking pictures of this meeting. And that, much like a sports team, AOL couldn't afford to have people giving the game plan away.
Would you be surprised to know that there is a 404 error song?
You never really know what to expect when you click at a link on the internet. But a page that no man or woman wants to see is yet scattered through everybody's history. 404. Oh, what an utter bore. 404. I wanted so much more. 404. That's never happened before. 404. Okay, that's a lie.
That reminds me of that page
Oh, boy.
somebody created. It was the last page of the internet.
Yeah.
Reach the last page of the internet.
last,
Please hit your back button to go back where you were.
Yeah.
Sounds remarkably like the Monster Mash.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it? Good catch there.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Larry Ellison?
I don't know who it is.
Come on.
Besides the fact that he's an obnoxious, you know what?
Oracle. Larry Ellison.
Don't know him.
Yeah, one of the meanest people in business.
Well, listen to this. He thinks that Apple will collapse without Steve Jobs at the helm. In a televised interview with CBS News, Ellison called the deceased Jobs brilliant and comparing to iconic creators such as Thomas Edison and Pablo Picasso. When asked about Apple's future now that Jobs is dead, Ellison didn't hold back. "We already know, we saw, we conducted the experiment. It's been done." Raising his hand above his head, presumably to indicate the rise of Apple fortunes during Jobs' initial reign, Ellison said, "We saw Apple with Steve Jobs." Then he lowered his hand. "We saw Apple without Steve Jobs." In other words, the period following Jobs' ouster, when the company's revenues declined and it launched whole portfolios of consumer products that failed, we saw Apple with Steve Jobs. Ellison continued, raising his hand above his head again, this time to suggest that incandescent period following Jobs' return to the company, when it released the iPod, iPhone, iPad, and a variety of best-selling PCs. And now we're going to see Apple without Steve Jobs, he finished, and his hand fell. And it's true, when Steve Jobs was not there, Apple was going sort of like down. And then he came back, and Apple came up again. So he's saying that Apple is going to collapse now that Jobs is not there.
Get a Mac.
Thank you, Sean. That's an interesting observation, and it's, you know how we always were talking amongst ourselves about VidBlaster.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld
an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly,
everybody together.
My surprise,
404.
he did the monster man.
404.
It was a great.
Okay, so you get it. Sorry about it.
You know how we were talking about the fact, and a lot of people are saying that VidBlaster, for instance, it's a one-man's operation, kind of. And what happens if first he got hit by a bus? And here it is, Apple, a huge company. And because one man who's not up there at the top, it could, I'm not saying it will, but it could fail. That's not a good thought. Yeah, it wasn't coming back. There was.
Yep. Yeah, he's got, I think, doesn't he have a book coming out with his take or whatever?
Anybody seen the movie about Jobs, about Apple?
It just came out, right?
Yeah.
You ought to listen to an interesting talk that Ashton Kutcher gave recently at a college, or I'm not sure if it was a high school or a college, talking about work ethic. That just very surprising, very, very good talk he gave about how opportunity is not just somebody coming along and handing you something, but opportunity is actually work, hard work. Talked about all the different jobs he had and how long it took him as he worked. Very, very well done. Just surprising to come from him, from a Hollywood type. But
what's her name made him?
Well, you know, Romney said, let's put America back to work, and 51% of the people said, screw that.
Fact. Yep.
You're just jealous, Mike.
Yeah,
that's what?
Mike's just jealous.
What am I jealous of, Nick?
That you have to work, and America doesn't.
Yeah, but I could buy a lot of toys.
Like, you're wrong.
I'm right.
Nope.
You want to see my H416 P48?
Oh, sure. I'd love to.
All right. Well, I'll show it to you later.
I have a cool recommendation for anybody that runs Google Chrome. Sean Callahan sent this to me. It's a Chrome add-on.
You didn't open it, did you?
I did open it. It's on the Chrome store.
Yeah.
And normally when you open up a new tab in Google Chrome, you see either your last viewed websites or Chrome extensions. In this add-on, when you open a new tab, it shows you the time and the current temperature in the day, real time when you open a new tab. So if you run Google Chrome, it's something nice to have when you're opening up a new tab. You can look at all that stuff. And I think it's much more visually appealing than the regular, recently visited web pages thing that Chrome has.
It's called Currently.
Yeah. I think if you run Chrome and, I have nothing to lose from installing it. It's pretty cool.
You open a tab and it shows you temperature?
Yeah.
Temperature where?
On the...
your local temperature
location.
Or at that...
Yeah. Yeah, local. You can type in...
Every time you open it reminds me of the temperature.
Every time you do a new tab, see, they got garbage on the new tab.
Yeah.
And I use a plug-in called Blank New Tab. So that instead of opening with all that garbage, it would open up with just a blank screen. This add-in, I just installed it and did a new tab. It pops up. It says 11/39, 17, 18, 19, Sunday, August 18th, 74 now. It gives me the weather forecast through Wednesday. And
all that in a tab.
Carry and see.
And you can do a 12-hour, 24-hour format. You can change the color style. Like I have mine set to dark. But I think it's pretty cool. It's not there's nothing unless you do anything important on the new tab, which I really don't. It's something cool to have, and you can just open it and it's there and be reminded. And it looks nice I've been running it on my laptop.
Okay, I think I understand now. It's not on the tab; it's on the page when you open that tab. Okay.
Oh, you thought it was in the little.
Yeah, I'm saying, what are you talking about on the tab?
Yeah.
Okay. But, I'm assuming it only does it if you are opening a new tab. Click on a new tab.
Yeah.
Not when you click on something and it opens a new tab to show you that.
Hey, not a new tab.
Yeah, don't
Hello,
be confused
Andrew.
with the new tab.
Now what happened to Andrew?
I don't know. He says he's in here. Hello, Andrew.
Hello?
Yeah.
Wow, that was weird.
What is that noise?
Wow, that was really weird. I tried calling 3 times and Skype crashed each time.
Are you just finishing drinking a big gulp or something?
I'm having tea. I'm sober.
Get a Mac.
I'm sober 2 days.
Why?
I don't know. I went to that party last night. I didn't have a drink.
Andrew goes to this party. What was this party, Andrew?
It was a christening.
Yeah, christening. So what? I'm sure no one who's there is listening. So what is Andrew doing while everybody's dancing and doing the train dance and all that at this christening? You know what Andrew? Guess what Andrew's doing? Logging into our Google Hangout with his phone while sitting next to the DJ speaker and blowing his ears out.
And our ears out.
Yes.
Well,
my seat was right next to the speakers too. It was so bad.
That sounds fun.
No, I was dancing. I had a good time. It was a Polish christening.
Wow.
Not one person spoke English.
What did they speak?
Polish.
Polish?
Why did you go?
It's Jessica's best friend.
Oh.
But Jessica could translate.
No.
Oh.
No, Jessica's best. Obviously, she speaks English, but most people there didn't. It was a lot of fun. It was at the terrace on the park in Astoria. It was built in 1965 as a heliport for the World's Fair. And it was converted into a catering hall.
How was the food?
The food was awful. Catering food is the worst. I mean, I don't know why anybody even eats at a party like that. They should just stop serving food.
Did they have Polski Wyrob pickles?
They didn't. They didn't have any Polish food. You know, I would have wanted a nice kielbasa, but it was, you know, they had like this typical catering food, you know, the chicken marsala or not chicken marsala. What is it?
The chicken parmesan.
No, it was like Chateaubriand, which is like a steak, which is awful. They had salmon.
What about salad? That's a really common thing.
Chicken franchise. That's what it is. Chicken franchise.
Yeah.
Awful.
It's hard to go wrong with the Baptist bird.
I couldn't wait to come back and go hang out with you guys, but nobody was hanging out when I got back.
We were on the hangout till 1 o'clock.
Were you really?
Yes.
Yeah, I miss getting those invites.
Why?
You know, that's weird. And I guess we'll go back into tech. There's a weird glitch with Google. Like, if I join the hangout, like, let's say I join, I disconnect, and I join again, I disconnect, it won't show up anymore. Like, it won't tell me that there's a hangout in progress.
That's why we've been using Skype.
It's bizarre. Like, on my phone, obviously, like, I don't have it on my phone, and I had to get John to send me a link. I was like, is there a hangout? And when I look, he's like, we added you, but I don't see it as a hangout in progress. It just says that there was a hangout, 3.5 hours ago.
Yeah.
Those are
there's lots of issues with their notification system, which they're fixing, but lots of issues still.
Was there anything good yesterday? Did I miss out on anything?
Oh yeah. You're gonna have to watch the whole show to see what you missed.
We talked about the IAIB, but you weren't here.
I'm sorry. I had a crisis.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm working. Had an emergency.
Yeah, I frequently I'll go into Google Hangout. I'll look at Nick's. I'll look at Mike's. I'll look at Andrew's. I look at several feeds on Google Plus to see if anybody's hanging out. But I don't see you guys anymore.
Are you in the Skype group, Bruce?
I don't know what the Skype group is.
Add him.
I thought we added you to this.
He is.
Group. He is.
Have a top secret group. We've had some.
Oh, I don't keep Skype running all the time since our company switched to Link. So
I don't see him in here. You go, Rian.
I'm pretty sure you're in the group. We have a private group that we send out the. Oh, there, where we go. That we send out the links. Well, apparently you weren't in there because Nick just added you.
I thought you were in there, Bruce, and then you left the group.
Yeah, I know he was in there before, but why would it?
It's okay. It's all right as long as he's added.
Well, no, this Skype question: would it let you add him again if he were already added?
Yeah, it would. Let's see. I'm looking. Yeah, Bruce Turner left Sunday, August 4th.
So he turned his nose up at us, huh?
No, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a call that a one-off call that you guys did one time, and obviously my thought was the call is gone.
Well, it was at that time, but it has since morphed into the most effective way to notify people of the Hangout.
And that's really sad, actually.
That we had to go to that.
Okay.
And Jeff is wondering whether we booted him, and I think he just didn't get added. And we were talking about you, Jeff, wondering where you were.
I feel like I'm booted.
I'm going to boot you right now.
Please don't. I don't know what I'll do.
You need somebody with a big size boot.
It really has turned into somewhat of an obsession, hopefully a healthy one.
What, Google Plus Hangouts?
Yes.
I think it's very
it is becoming a nice tool. In the beginning, just to sit there and talk was counterproductive in some ways. But at this point, it's getting
downhill from there.
What? What?
Go ahead.
But now we just quote Joe from Staten Island for 3 hours.
But at this point, I mean, the way that I use it, I started. I keep on working, and you listen to what people have to say. You say something when somebody is asking you, just like having you guys in the room there, and you're still doing your work, and nobody's bothering you. And if somebody needs help, you're there to help. So it's nice.
I'm working.
Well, why don't you guys create a static URL like Tech and Coffee does? I mean, I can bookmark the Tech and Coffee Hangout and go to it anytime I want to, and it's the same, 24/7.
Yeah, no, I mean,
we got people that were what's the word we're trying to find?
Intentionally excluded.
Well, yeah,
that
we
were
boot
disrupting.
Anybody. Yeah, we boot anybody that makes that link private. By the way.
Yeah, but that we've had that issue where somebody we'll get the Google Plus raid thing where all these random people join with no pictures, and they just sit there and they talk like they're wanting to be part of the conversation, which you can clearly tell that they're not. That we've gotten a lot of that, so that's why we normally just generate a URL every time.
Okay. Well, I shall look for stuff on Skype at night then.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mike. 4333.
I know Andrew's number.
That about sums up the Google Plus Hangouts for anybody that's wondering.
No, but I mean, at times, there are times that we'll go in there and we're all working and we're all say it. Come on, Nick. Say it.
I'm working.
Thank you.
Sorry, what?
We'll all be working, and or there are times that we just really have nothing to say, and we just don't want to sit by ourselves.
That's true, and it's okay. And at that point, you leave, but you know that you can come back. It's fine.
But there are other times that it's very community driven, and we collaborate on things. And there's been times that let's say John in the group, Suncast in the group, and I are working on something. And we'll be talking about it in the group, and Nick will say, you know what, have you guys tried this? Or Mike will say, have you tried this?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it actually ends up becoming this community-driven effort to kind of help each other out whenever we need it.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I really have started relying on, where I'll have a problem. I'm like, hey, Nick, can you do me a favor? Can you take a look at this? And he'll be like, no problem. There we go.
What you're talking about is what we do in Tech and Coffee, only Tech and Coffee's during the day, because there are several of us who work from home, and it has the same kind of dynamic. And it's very, very helpful and rewarding.
Oh, it really is. I mean, I made the switch to Wirecast a couple of weeks ago, and I don't think I could have done it if the Hangouts weren't around. Stephen Haywood's in there, and Nick is in there, and Sean's in there, and and Suncast was in there, and we kind of, what happened was Nick kind of took over. Nick took over that project with John, and they kind of got me migrated, and now I'm learning it because John learned it from Nick.
It's becoming a very good tool.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And I've always said, if these things existed 5 years ago when I started podcasting, I wouldn't have made the mistakes that I did, or I would have, just done something a little different. I think a community effort like this, where you could go and talk to someone like Mike that knows, about audio and microphones and setups like that, I think it's a huge help, where you could just go in at any time and be like, hey, Mike, I got a question. And then Mike tells me to go buy a snowball.
No, the Yeti Pro.
With the one you already have.
I already have a snowball. Exactly. I bought a snowball.
Snowflakes for Mike to get.
Most people wouldn't have known about the ATR 2100 AT 2005.
I don't think anybody would have.
So I think at times it's very, and then there are other times that we just argue over, the most mundane stuff.
Well, I mean, it's really gotten to a somewhat of a problematic level in that my wife now brings my dinner up here and puts the plate in front of my keyboard.
It's like a prison. She just slides it under.
Yes.
Andrew, you said something interesting about how that would have changed podcasting. What do you think that if there was a Google Plus 5 years ago, do you think the way that podcasts are done in the terms of maybe having one or two guests would be completely different, where every podcast would be a complete roundtable show?
I'll tell you that I think we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I want to write a blog about it, or I wanted to have like a discussion about this, because we're going to be doing more stuff with the IIB and shows. So, everybody pretty much in this group right now would probably be part of it at some point. But, there are a couple things there's a couple what ifs that I like to kind of play out in my head. One is, what if Google Hangout existed, 4 years ago? And the other one is, what if we had the information that we do now with what to use and how to do it, and how to put out an RSS and all this stuff. The biggest thing that comes into play is Google Hangouts and the fact that you can do auto switching, and it records locally to YouTube. The other thing is there's services like Zoom.us that do a phenomenal job. I mean, it might be a little crazy to say, but I think if Google Hangouts existed 5 years ago, I don't think iTunes would have been as successful with podcasting, and I really believe that we would have seen a whole different, spectrum of what a podcast is considered. YouTube could have been the king of podcasts.
Yeah, let me make a Zoom.us comment, and I know one of the reasons why you would choose to use Hangouts for the nightly conclave as opposed to Zoom.us, because you're limited to 40 minutes. But if you had at least one premium user in that group, then you're unlimited, and you can have up to 25 people in there. The screen sharing is phenomenally better.
Oh, it's great.
But even more to the point is, let's say you're having a discussion, and all of a sudden you guys say, this is a really great discussion. Let's make a recording of this. All you got to do is click on the chat, record, and you can create an MP4 video of that discussion, and then anybody, whoever created it, could throw it up on YouTube or whatever.
So it's not that anybody that is on the group can click it and it will record locally on their machine?
Well, you could make anybody the host. I mean, whoever started it, you can make somebody the host. But
I mean, if there are 10 of us and you started it and I want to record it,
if you said it allows you to, you can.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Bruce, I have a question about Zoom US. If I have premium and I'm in the Hangout, or I'm in the call for 2 hours and I have to go, is the call stay premium or will it end after 40 minutes?
When you leave, the 40-minute ticker starts.
Ah, see, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but there's so many other things about Zoom.
Yeah, that are
where
beneficial.
Google Hangouts sucks.
We actually used it, and Nick wasn't crazy about it.
What, the Zoom.us?
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about the time limit because Mike has premium.
But I gave you the username and password. You don't have that limitation anymore. Nick normally starts the Hangouts.
Yeah, but the issue becomes if Mike if Mike's not around, if I'm not around, if somebody else isn't around, like you just can't have a casual hangout or end in 40 minutes. And we had to restart. We had to make a new one.
Here's the question. Let's say that I got a premium account and I give it to you and I give it to Andrew and I give it to Mike. And
I'll sell it.
Now, let's say that somebody got a hold of it and changed the password. How easy will it be for me to get control of it again? Any idea?
Fairly easy because it's a small company, and if you told them what you did...
if I told them what I did, then I'm booted.
Say somebody hacked your password.
Yeah.
But they're a small company. They are very responsive, in my opinion, to questions that you may have.
Okay.
So I would suggest that you could probably get it back pretty easily. There was one other thing I thought too, but it escaped me.
I guess you could always just cancel.
Oh, that was the other thing. Quit paying.
Yeah.
Well, I know now that if Amnon gets Zoom Premium, I'm going to steal his account.
Oh, there you go.
No, you won't
I'll
have
make
to
the password. I'll make the password Radar Gaming 1.
Yeah,
Hey.
or make it password.
Don't be cheap. $10 a month is nothing.
I know. I know. That's what I'm thinking.
We have that, Amnon.
Spend that at Starbucks and more.
You're not using it for anything else, Mike?
No, the guys gave me a free account because they want us to test it.
Okay. So, Nick, why aren't you using it? And why don't I have the password?
We had a problem with Jim Castro not being able to get into the chat.
Yeah, Jim couldn't join. It just told him that there was nothing going on, so we had to switch over to Hangouts.
Oh, he couldn't get into... What do you mean he couldn't get into the
Zoom,
chat?
He couldn't get into the Zoom call.
Really?
He restarted, he uninstalled, he reinstalled, he tried a different computer. He just couldn't get into it. So that's we were like, all right, we're just going to move over to Hangouts for today.
Get a Mac.
I wonder if he's blocking...
Well, he's been in them before.
It just may have been a quirk.
Yeah. It's weird, but no, I like it. I definitely like it. I just I feel like that if somebody that doesn't have the premium account isn't around, it's more of a nuisance than anything else.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if they could be combined somehow?
Or if it was just set so, like, you know, Mike comes in the call with his premium account, and then that call until everybody leaves it is a premium call. That would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
You can't. So as I understood it, Bruce, is that if I start the call with a premium account and then hand the hosting over to Nick, that starts the 40-minute counter?
You leaving. I mean, you know, when you leave, you can end the meeting if you're the host, or you can just leave the meeting. If you end it for all, then everybody shuts down. If you just leave yourself,
so in other words,
the 40-minute counter
there
starts.
is no way to hand, quote unquote, the hosting.
It required you. I thought, as the host, you are required to hand off the host to another member before you can leave if you want to leave the call going.
Not so.
Interesting. Well, what does the handing off the host accomplish?
It gives them some moderator control. They can mute everybody. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and if you think about it, if there's, you know, now that I know you guys are doing this thing, and the other cool thing about Zoom is you can schedule a meeting and have it be recurring. And like I have the same URL every week. I mean, tonight at 8 o'clock, all my group knows where to go. And, you know, they've bookmarked it. And it works really good. But, you know, with as many people as you're talking about, you know, if somebody leaves, you know, all you need to do is within 40 minutes, somebody else premium license come in, and it could just keep on going. Plus, if Amnon has shared his credentials, and we're not talking about anything below the waist, but if he shared his credentials for Zoom, then I'm a Zoom fanboy. Can't help it. If I were doing a show to YouTube Live, I would not use Skype. I would use Zoom. I would not use Hangouts like Mike McDermott does. Dan McDermott. I like Zoom.
I like it too. I wish there were some of those underlying features, because it becomes like, I believe when we had it, and before I had Mike's account, the thing came up and I was like, all right, I'm going to start a new one. I'll send the link in Skype and everybody else can rejoin.
And how long? I mean, with the premium, how long can you leave it up?
Forever.
Okay.
I gotta go. See ya.
See you later.
See you, Bruce.
Have
a
good
great
week.
week. We'll talk to you.
Okay. I'll see you sometime.
Yep.
See.
Bye.
Bye.
Jeff is asking, what about Wirecast to YouTube Live?
It works fine.
Well, I answered that. He wanted to know who's tried it yet, and I answered that Ray Ortega did, and I have to take that back. I think he actually did. I think he did a hangout on air, and the quality was terrible. I mean, I don't know what the attraction is.
So I actually tried it with my school, because the school district has a YouTube page, and I was talking to the head of the media department about it, and I set up Wirecast, did an RTMP to YouTube, and it worked fine.
You mean YouTube Live, on air, whatever. When you say YouTube page.
What was that?
When you say that your school have a YouTube page.
Yeah, like the school district has a YouTube thing where they'll upload stuff from time to time.
Oh, so a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah,
All right.
channel.
I thought.
This is really strange. Some funny things are going on here. Jeff says that his wife is in the room listening to the show, and it's really strange because my wife has started listening to the show as well. And apparently Jeff and his wife have recently gotten the news that they are getting ready to have triplets.
Woo! Congratulations.
Ooh, howdy.
So is that what you
for
like help in making work?
Congratulations, I think.
He's saying, I'd love some help making that work, guys. Is that what he's talking about?
I can't help you with the triplets. Sounds like to me it's your fault.
So do all your wives watch the show? Because mine just drinks when I'm on the air.
Well, she drinks because of you.
Ba-dum-pum.
Oh, wait.
Well, she has to.
I don't get it.
That's what Jessica says probably all the time.
I don't get it.
That's why
I hear that a lot.
Well,
I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't feel it.
Oh, God.
Oh,
no.
To make triplets takes the same amount of time it does to make single babies.
So might as well be efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practical.
300% efficiency.
Yep.
Wow.
Fact.
Close your ears, Nick.
Yeah, covered. So I have, Andrew, I have a question for you about.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Nick.
Like you have, like I see you have like that. You have that netbook behind you in your studio.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sean last night.
Oh,
about,
behind me in the seat in my main shot.
Yeah, you have a netbook.
It's not a netbook. It's just a regular laptop.
So we always talk about people that do this broadcast stuff. They get old computers. They have old computers that sit around and do nothing. I was thinking of finding a way to make a soundboard OS that would be nothing but the soundboard. What are your thoughts?
What was that, Mike?
I'm telling Todd to listen to this conversation.
Okay.
I mean, I've got these. I've got right here. It's a Dell Inspiron Mini 10. It's got an Intel Atom processor. This thing does not run a regular operating system. I think something like a soundboard OS that was nothing besides soundboard would work perfectly. Nothing besides the soundboard. There's no interface like Windows.
I'm sure it can be done where you set it up. I mean, if it's Linux, you could set it up where it automatically just loads it into that program,
But not even Linux, just a straight soundboard OS.
Yeah, but it would have to be running something.
No, it could be running a very dumbed down version of Linux, but I wouldn't want to install like CentOS and then have to install that on top of it. I'm talking like just a Linux distro that is nothing besides a soundboard.
It could be done. I mean, you look at some of the other soundboard devices. What is it? The instant replay, which is for soundboards, and that's quite limited. You can't really, and it's like $2-3 grand. So if there was some sort of software, I think nowadays almost every radio station that uses soundboards is using a Windows application or something that's custom written.
I just think that you could transform these old computers into something useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you could come up with a way to have Linux on there, and it just takes over the entire distro, and it's just one thing, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I know everybody has these old computers that are just useless for anything else, and I think that's something
I can't do anything with it. It just it's awful.
Yeah, same with this, but just clicking a button and having it play audio should be able to do fine.
What OS does the netbook have?
Mine?
No, the one Andrew said won't do anything.
It's Windows.
What version?
7.
All right, so you throw Jingle Palette on there. You're good to go. What's the question?
No, I'm talking about basic functionality. I mean, it's you can't use it.
Slow.
Yeah.
Jingle Palette is slow?
What are you talking about? The thing's probably got an Atom processor. The thing is not capable.
It makes no difference.
None whatsoever.
Not for something like this, Nick.
Not for a dedicated application.
You don't think so? Really?
Well, listen, I'm on a P4.
It may take forever to come up, but once it's up, that's it.
I'm going to count to 3 and then hit the button for Jingle Palette on this Pentium 4 computer. And I'm going to hit the button at exactly the same time that I say 3, so that you will see what the latency is from the time I hit the button. You ready? P4 now. 1, 2, 3. 0 latency.
Absolutely.
How much RAM does that computer have?
2 gig.
Okay. What else are you running on it?
At the moment, I'm running the Google Chrome with the Computers 2K Now chat. I'm running Thunderbird with about 27 different email accounts. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs open in another instance of Chrome, and I also have Microsoft Outlook running. Oh, and I also have Media Monkey running.
It caught on in a flash.
Is that one of those Lenovo P4s?
It is.
It's a good machine.
I'm running an HP laptop, P4 2.2, I believe, or 1.8, something like that. I've got Computers 2K Voice running on it with you guys on. I have Jingle Palette, and I have a browser.
Really?
Really. And it's the same thing. I mean, if I hit something, it's right there. 1, 2, 3.
Excellent.
There's no, once it's up, there is no reason. So you can use, I mean, I don't know that I would use a big computer. I mean, if you have an old laptop.
A Pentium 3 laptop would be sufficient to run Jingle Palette. In fact, I've got one here. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, it's a cart-type program at jinglepalette.com. There's some quirks about it that are a little unusual, but after you get used to it, it works really well. That's what I use to play all of these little drop-ins.
Are you high?
I'm trying to find for this thing. You need a special version of Windows that I'm trying to find. I currently have
netbooks, absolutely.
I currently have Linux on it.
The nice thing is that Jingle Palette will probably work on Windows 2000. It'll work on Windows 98. On any of them, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's an old program.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says Windows 2000 XP. Yep.
Yeah, so the chances are you don't need to do anything to the computer even. Just make sure that you don't load anything that you don't need so the computer could stay up longer, and put Jingle Palette on it, and you're good to go.
See, so we just solved one of Todd's problems. Todd's trying to find a way to play audio cuts into his podcast, and you can use the iPhone. In fact, there is an application. Which one is it, Andrew? You may have seen. One of you guys had an iPhone.
Nick
app.
had it. Yeah, Nick.
I
had
also
it.
have. It's called. I use the one called Soundboard.
I use one called Soundbite
Yeah,
that
I have that too. Yep.
I have to do a review of soon.
Netbooks. I mean, any of these old computers, once you get the program loaded, it should work fine. That go pretty quickly.
Obama!
That has a lot of latency built in.
He said soundboard or soundbite.
I use Soundbite
Soundboard.
on the iPad.
Right. Andrew uses Soundboard.
I use Soundboard, and I also use it on the Mac.
Yeah, the one Soundbite's got a Windows app, a Mac app.
Isn't
and
Soundboard the one that I was using in the beginning, Mike? Isn't that the
They
one?
have the same name, Amnon, but it's not the same program.
Oh.
But they work.
Yeah.
And I tell you, Todd, when I'm serious when I say this, somebody around you has computers they will give you for free to get rid of them. You may have to reinstall the operating system and something like that. But any old Windows computer would work just fine. As long as it'll boot and run the operating system, you can download this Jingle Palette app and get where you want to be. If it's not a laptop, you'd have to have a monitor. You can get any old junker monitor.
Right.
I mean, if you were here, the freight, it would be worth the freight to sending you one. But if I've got so many here, I'd probably give you one. It'd take me a while to go through and put them all together. But I have computers that are very old, but I don't throw anything away if I can find a use for it. And it turns out that I think that they are very useful for these soundboard apps. I'm getting ready to probably send a couple over to Rick because he's setting Rick's house. He's setting up his studio at his new home. And in fact, there probably will be a video version of his show in probably in the next 6 months. Uber Geek says he's got a shack full of them. I may just send out a Facebook message for you. That may work. If your buddy's in the area, if somebody's got a computer. There are people like me who don't want to throw stuff away, but they don't want to keep it. I mean, that's why this Wake Free Cycle program has been good for me, because when you put it on there,
somebody's going to use it.
Somebody's either going to use it or they're going to at least recycle it and get the money out of it for the metal or whatever. So at least something's happening with it other than just throwing it in the garbage.
Yep.
Somebody's getting something out of it, and that helps. That helps me overcome my affliction.
You're going to say
if you
something.
go down to in Wake County here, they have 2 locations that accept all kinds of recycling. And you go down there now at any time, and there are pallets filled with computers.
Mm-hmm.
So people are bringing them down to be recycled, which is great.
But they won't let you take one that will only.
No, once it's there, you can't take it.
So the point being that if people are throwing them away, then they would just as soon give it to you and let you get some value out of it. And I would venture a guess, I don't know what you guys would think, but I would venture a guess that of those computers that are being recycled at these landfills or these recycling centers, 50% of them could have the operating system reinstalled, cleaned up, and be usable.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more than that. It's just some of them are
They're just
bloated and neglected.
That Wake Free Cycle is I mean, when you read and you see somebody advertise something, offered something, and half an hour later they put another message, it was taken.
It goes
That's
fast.
Nice, yes.
So you're on the list now, Amnon?
Yeah, I've been on it for now since last time we talked about 2 weeks.
Okay. What we're talking about, because if in your community you need to look into it, even if you're not an environmental wacko, there is a group on they're Yahoo groups. It's an organization called Free Cycle. They typically will make the name of the group some local designator freecycle at yahoogroups.com. Ours is Wake. We're in Wake County, North Carolina. Wake Freecycle at yahoogroups.com, and it's very heavily moderated. There are some strict rules you have to follow. If you get booted from the group, they won't let you back in because people need to follow the rules. But the rules are reasonable, and that is, for example, when I gave away the UPSs a couple of weeks ago, when I listed them in there, I had to put in there the word offer in the subject line. The next item was a short description, UPSs, used UPSs, something like that. And the third thing you have to put in the subject line is a location within 5 minutes of where they can be picked up. That usually means near Crossroads Shopping Center or near intersection of Old Apex Road and Chatham Street, something like that, so that people don't waste their time reading it if they're not willing to travel all the way across the county to pick up shipping peanuts. Yeah, and it's a very, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, and there is, and then you have to tell people when it was picked up. That's another rule. And I'm seeing people say wanted too. I didn't notice that in the beginning, but there are a lot of people that say, we need such and such.
Didn't I tell you what happened to? I know I did. Didn't I tell you what happened when I did a wanted on there?
No.
Depends on what you wanted.
Well, it's getting so old. The details are escaping me, but I post on there anonymously. Nobody knows who I am unless I give them my name because it doesn't matter. You don't need all this stuff hanging out there. I posted on there that I wanted, if someone had some scrap pieces of copper pipe,
that's right.
I wanted to practice soldering copper pipe. And the next day, a guy sends me an email and says, I have a bag of several copper fittings that I'd be glad to bring over to you if that's what you're looking for, Mike. I said, wait a minute. How's this guy know Mike? I sent him an email back. I said, well, that's very kind. Tell me where you'd like me to pick them up and when you're available. And by the way, how'd you know Mike? He wrote me back and identified himself. He said, I just happened to remember your email address from when you and I had contact before. He had asked for something, and I'd gone out of my way, apparently, to provide it to him. And he said if he ever got the opportunity to repay the favor, he wanted to do so. And the son of a gun brought the darn things over to my house and handed them to me. Very nice guy. Very nice guy.
So it's nice. I mean, people, and if you have, it's the old saying that one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Well,
they come and they get it. You don't, Spence. You don't need to go to the dump or to the recycling place.
I wouldn't send them down there.
Do what?
I wouldn't send them to Wake County. I'd put them on Freecycle. 2 reasons.
Yeah.
1, somebody's probably going to get some use out of it, and 2, they'll come by your house and pick it up.
Right.
If you don't mind.
That could be.
What?
That could be. I'd meet them somewhere else. I don't think I'd have them come to your house.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No, a lot of them put porch pickup, or they put curb pickup. Yeah, it works. All right.
So anyway, when I joke about being a hoarder, that's only a half joke. I mean, I really get annoyed when I can't find something, or I know that I've gotten rid of something that I now need and I have to go buy it again. To me, that's just not smart. But the other side of that is, especially in a town like Cary, the real estate is very limited. You don't have unlimited space to store everything you want to store.
Right. And it's okay. I mean, because otherwise you become a hoarder by default. Because, I may need this. Oh, I may need that. Oh, I may need this. And before you know it, you can build a rocket to go to the moon, but you don't want to go to the moon.
Behave, Gary.
Dang.
Well, are we done?
Yeah, we're done. Anybody has anything else to say? Nick? Andrew?
I don't know. I was potted up.
All these inside jokes, guys. I apologize for all this stuff.
That's all right.
Well, they would understand, Mike, if they tuned into the Bold Truth Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. East.
That's true. They would be able to figure that out.
Yeah, tell them about GFQ.
Yeah, tell them about GFQ in general, Andrew.
Yeah.
We're just a bunch of drunks that do podcasts and live internet broadcasts.
No, you're not.
Well, that's helpful.
Come on.
We do about 10 to 12 shows a week. We cover everything from technology to comedy to hair loss to wrestling. So pretty much everything you could imagine, we cover it. It's more of a guys talk network.
And it's gfqnetwork.com.
gfqnetwork.com.
Yeah. And also, Todd says there are TV shows for hoarders. Well, in fact, Amnon, one of the ladies who is on the Hoarders TV show is from Cary, and she has been on in Amnon's studio a couple of times with one of Amnon's other show hosts. Very nice lady, very knowledgeable, very skilled in the art of dealing with hoarders and organization. And also, Jeff has teachercast.tv live tonight at 7 Eastern, teachercast.tv. And as Amnon will talk about at 8 o'clock, it will be Carrie with Carrie's Psychic Cafe. And there's a lot of entertainment going on the Internet. It's a little difficult to know what's going on from time to time, but maybe the IAIB's calendar will solve that one of these days.
Yeah, not many people are using the calendar. You, Andrew, I think you need to mention it more.
Well, the calendar is a functionality. It's a function of the forum.
Right.
We do want to add a calendar to the main page. We just have to code it.
And post it periodically in the Internet group, too.
Well, on after New Year, we're doing some changes to the main site.
Why reinvent the wheel? Why can't you put a link from the main page to the calendar of the forum? And that's
I don't like the way that the calendar, it doesn't function exactly the way I want it to function.
Okay.
That's actually a good idea, Amnon. You're talking about make the header up at the top, the link to the calendar.
Yeah.
There might be some way to integrate that into Facebook. We'll work on that when Andrew's happy with the calendar.
Like, there's a couple issues. Like, with recurring shows, it doesn't act normal. And if there are two shows at the same time, sometimes it just doesn't display one show.
Oh.
Like, the calendar is generally for service announcements, like website announcements, but we do think that it would be interesting to have it.
Okay. Okay.
Zoge?
Anything else?
Not me.
Before we get on a hangout?
I actually have some woodworking I am going to do today. I might pull an Andrew and just carry my Mac around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got some electrical wiring to do today.
Ooh.
Sorry.
All right.
No, it's fun.
I'm going out to this evening. Spencer and his wife are in town, so we're going to Quality Meats.
What is that?
It's a male dance club.
Quality Meats.
Oh, really?
It's a steakhouse.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Come on, Mike.
It's a really nice steakhouse.
And they serve alcohol.
Of course they do. Would I be somewhere that doesn't?
Is that one
At
of those
discount prices?
Is that one of those steakhouses that you're going to say, I want some of this meat, some of this, and they cook it for you there? Or
no, I've gone there once. It's like a higher end New York steakhouse. So they pretty much charge you 3 times the amount that it should be worth.
Okay.
Spence, when these guys, this foursome, when they go out to eat in New York, it's usually $1,000.
At least.
Hopefully it's other people's money.
It's not my money.
It's a write-off. It's a write-off. It's an expense.
Right.
Sure.
I have a computer question.
Oh.
We don't
We don't answer those on this show.
No, is that should I call Leo Laporte? Will he answer my question?
Listen, the tech guy's on in an hour and a half. I think you should
All right.
call him.
All right. What's the best way to make a bootable USB OS?
What are you trying to do, Windows?
Windows XP.
There's an application that Microsoft provides to you where you can actually, on the Microsoft site, you could actually get like this application where it makes a bootable disk for you. Bootable USB. And it gives you instructions on how to do it.
But the
because they now supply you with the ISO. You can download the ISO and just...
Yeah, I already have an ISO of XP.
Oh, you're doing XP?
Yeah, XP.
Oh, I don't know about XP. I know about 7.
Oh.
You also have to make sure that it's enabled in the BIOS to boot from the USB key.
Mm-hmm.
Some older computers may not do it.
There's a lot of Linux distros
that are completely bootable.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't boot from USB, you could boot from a DVD or CD.
This thing doesn't have a DVD or CD drive in it.
Yeah. Well, then it probably does boot from USB.
Yeah.
Yep. Never done it. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, then we'll go and meet somewhere else.
Later.
Bye for now.
All right, Andrew. Thanks for calling, man.
I had fun.
Talk to you later.
Hey, Nick.
Yes.
You're a beautiful boy. You're a nice body.
Thank you.
I think we should go today and hang out to the entrance to the Wake recycling place. Not in there, but just outside, and just stop every car and ask them if they have any computers before they go in.
Yeah,
you're going to get arrested.
Like for me to carry in for you.
I'll bet you're going to get arrested. You're going to be asked.
Off site.
Yeah.
Hold up a sign. Are you bringing a computer to the dump? Stop here, please.
Nick, you got the message? Oh, yeah. Okay.
You want to hear something stupid? I'm trying to install this program. You know how software will say, like, make this your home page, get this toolbar?
Yeah.
I uncheck both of them and I press next, and it makes you set it as the home page. Yeah, well, I'm not using that software. Win2Flash.
Oh. Oh, well.
Yep.
Get 'em.
Yeah, that's the solution.
All right, I'm hanging up now, guys.
All right.
It's that time.
Nick, talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.
Spence, I'll see you later on this week. Mike, same. All right. Well, do you want to say good morning to good afternoon to anybody? No. Good afternoon, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drives, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Tonight at 8 o'clock, like Mike said, we're going to have Carrie's Psychic Cafe. Carrie Silkowski will entertain you with psychic readings, 8 till 9. Tomorrow morning, it is Debbie with Health In, Homeopathy. So, see ya.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays, 8 till 9 p.m. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.